Welcome to a Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav, and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name's Harmat, and my pronouns are Hershey, like the chocolate.
And this is A Feast for Crows, chapters 7 and 8, Cersei and Jaime. In these chapters, the crows are circling to feast on Tywin's corpse.
Ooh.
And I mean more than just like the actual crows, metaphorical crows.
Yes. I got
Obviously,
that.
like over-explaining a joke is how it's improved. That's how it works, right?
Yes, of course.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone. Hi, Harmat. I thought you were like moving your head, so I thought you were gonna say something, but then you didn't.
No, I was just like vibing, like waiting.
Sure.
And then you like paused.
Well, vibe on this. Who died in these chapters?
Nobody?
Yeah. Well, like those two jailer guards people, like for sure.
Well, we
know,
knew
like,
Cersei was gonna kill them anyway.
Yeah. She gave the order last time. It was confirmed this time. Varys? Question mark? Like,
but that could have already been a possibility. Like, we don't
okay.
know. I don't count any of this. Oh my god, we haven't had any... Wait, what was the prologue of this book? Oh, wait, someone did die in the prologue. Okay. So we haven't had... I genuinely don't think we've had, like, people die since the prologue, like, significantly.
Whoa.
That's actually crazy. Because the rest, I think, because also, to be fair, there's just been so many deaths to, like, reel from. Like, everyone in Doran's area, like, figuring out what to do about, like, the...
Okay,
the
now are you
Oberyn
saying
being
Doran,
dead?
Prince Doran, or Dorne the area?
I was saying Doran's, like, Doran, like,
okay,
Prince.
the prince, okay.
Yeah, his whole vibe. And so I think everyone there has been reeling from that. Arya's in the House of the... Or what's... Not the House of the Dead. Oh, the House of Black and White. I was thinking of House of the Undying. Oops.
Yeah.
But, like, that house has been... I think, like, death has definitely been a big theme, but we haven't... I think there's just been so much else that we haven't had the deaths going on here.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining.
Right. Well, it's definitely a change from the last book. So... what did you think of these chapters?
Okay, I enjoyed them. However, like, okay. There were highs and lows for me, I think. Okay. Highs were, like, obviously, like, the whole conversation with Kevin was crazy. Like, the whole, like, Jaime, Cersei at the end, like, there were, like, I think the endings of the chapters were very epic, but I think, like, there was significant portions where I just was like, hey, okay, However, overall, I would say slay.
Yeah, these were thick, hefty.
They were.
I've never highlighted more in a chapter in my life.
Yeah, I was reading these chapters when, like, something weird had just happened with, like, my family's car that I was worried about. So half of me, like, couldn't stop thinking about the car, and half of me was trying so hard to read and understand what was happening.
You're like, get out of this car and into this palanquin.
Basically, yeah. Like, it was just me trying to focus, so I think that took away some of the enjoyment, but I will say the endings of both chapters I really enjoyed, because they were, like, I think, like, my jaw was dropped for both endings, basically, and I was like, whoa. Anyway, it's cool. Things were happening. The only thing I will say was, like, I was hoping for, like, an epic breakup, not get an epic breakup. That's my only, like, legitimate, like, complaint, to
Fair
register,
enough.
So,
yeah.
Sending that out into the universe.
Well, maybe
Here's
an
my
epic
complaint.
breakup is brewing.
It definitely could be. I need it to happen, like, right now.
Well, impatient, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
What's that? The fruit of patience is sweet, or there's like a fancy way to say it.
I'm like, who is it? Oh, Tyrell. They're like, oh, hopefully he gets impatient. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's like me, I'm getting impatient.
Okay. Why don't you start on Cersei's... Wait, no.
Bro,
no,
we have to summarize.
Yes, sorry, forgot about that. Okay. You have 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, dead, funeral, her, Tommen on the way. Tommen is not fit to be king yet. She's mad at all times. Talks to Kevin, is like, hey, be my hand. And he's like, fucking no way. By the way, I know that they're Jaime's. It's Jaime's. It's Jaime's. And I know, I don't respect you. Use these people. She splashes wine into his face. Also, she has a conversation with Tyrell. Jaime, basically like continuation, he's vigiling, you know? And then eventually it's like funeral part 2, Tommen barfs because it smells really bad. He has like a little dad moment with Tommen, but then Cersei interrupts it, and then he gives Cersei advice, and he's like, do this. And the entire time he's like raging about what Tyrion said, and he doesn't want to believe that Cersei cheated on him, but he's like seeing it.
Okay. Actually, it wasn't time, but I kind of zoned out for a second. Like, away from the clock, and it's time now. But it doesn't matter. You got it. It was great. It was wonderful. Just like these chapters, into which we shall now further delve. Okay. Cersei.
Please, you're so funny.
I am falling apart by the moment, so I'm trying to keep it together.
Stop.
Like, I don't know. I'm not tired or hungry or anything, but like, I just feel my body giving up. I don't know what's happening. It's like, we're done for the day. So wrap it up. Cersei, it's raining. Yeah. They are going down to the Sept of Baelor for Tywin's funeral. Of all the things you predicted, you didn't predict a funeral, by the way.
I think I just like, well, yeah, like, it's one of those, like, well, yeah, they'll have a funeral.
It's like a given.
Yeah. I think I just say it was, like, it just wasn't in the, like, what's it called? In the front of my mind.
Cool.
At the front of my mind.
Sure, I would have taken either way. I'll take anything you give me at this point. You can be like, Cersei is the greatest queen to ever be. And I'll be like, yes, that's true.
If anybody thinks that, I don't want them in charge. They're taking their advice from Cersei. Cersei, I will say, Cersei is a stressful character to be in the head of. Because you're just like, girl, come on. Like, I just find myself constantly groaning
But you just gotta remember that you're not really on her side, and then it's entertaining.
Wait, oh my god, you've literally shifted my entire view of these chapters. Wait, yeah, okay, right? Slay. Wait, why didn't, that's like the most, you're so right. Of course, yeah, keep fucking up, let's give her all the power. Why? Oh my god, it's crazy. It's like all it takes is being in their POV, and you kind of lose yourself.
Yeah. I don't know.
You're like, come on, Cersei, do the right thing. And it's like, maybe don't.
This is like, I think it's inevitable, yeah, like to kind of get invested in whoever's POV you are.
Yeah.
But like, upon a reread or like further reflection, you're like, oh yeah, we kind of hate her. So like, it's great that she's fucking up. Like, which is why I love, like, I just love her chapters. Because, I can't.
It's just her fucking things up for the Lannisters in an entertaining way.
Yeah. It's, yes. Okay.
Yeah, she is anything but boring or plain.
That is true.
So take that as you will.
So she is riding with Tommen, who actually, she's in like a palanquin, litter, or whatever they call it, with Tommen. He wanted to ride a horse, but it's raining. So she's like, what, are you going to fuck up your clothes? And also, you're not as robust as Joffrey was. You're going to catch a cold and die.
I'm like, this isn't, what's his face? Lysa's son? Robert. This isn't Robert.
Yeah.
Like, come on. He ain't gonna... Because with him, we're genuinely worried. We're like, hey, your immunity's down there.
Yeah, but like,
this
she's
entire chapter,
constantly...
the way she treats Tommen sucks.
It's bad.
And it's terrible. And it's like objectively, like, you're being a bad mother right now. And it's just like, come on. And yeah, it's just like, this isn't gonna make him better in any way. Just
and
like,
her version of better
him.
is like worse. Like,
yeah,
he's like this sweet, empathetic kid, and she's like, why? No, stop being all of those things.
Yeah, she's like, why aren't you Joffrey? They're gonna take advantage of you.
Yeah,
and it's like, there's a way to make him tough without making him Joffrey. And, like, you just don't understand that. Like, to you, it's like,
but she's the one who raised Joffrey, so, like...
Oh, well, yeah, I get that. But I need her to, like, reflect. You know when people die and you reflect on their life? I was hoping instead of, like, oh, damn, my son died, there would be a little bit of, like, oh, wait, wasn't he also shitty? Like, I know he was my son, but I guess we can't expect that from
also,
Cersei
like,
at this point.
I forget, like, to which extent she was aware of all his dealings, because wasn't there, like, when he was torturing Sansa and, like, basically stripping her in front of, like, the entire court, there was something about Cersei not knowing that,
right? We were like, does she?
Yeah,
or like, it wasn't implied either way at the time.
I can't remember the details, but, like, either Tyrion was like, do you want me to tell your mother? And Joffrey was like, no, I don't. Or, like, wait till your mother hears about this, or like, I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But like, also, like, Cersei, you understand the limitations placed on women in this world, and like, you should be sympathetic to Sansa's position and like all of that, like, you know.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, she
also her, like,
for her it isn't like women are actually great. For her, it's women do suck, but I'm not a woman.
Yes, yeah, I'm not like woman. Other girls.
Yeah, it's just like, so to her, like, Sansa's just some like dumbass. Like, literally, that's literally she thinks she's a like dumbass airhead. Is basically Cersei's perception of Sansa, and I'm just like, but yeah, like, even with Tommen, it's just like, there's just so many ways to do it right and like mold him, because also there's little things like for like, I know we'll get into it later, but like, she's like, he's talking to Marjorie and her grandmother, and he's like, she's like, I gotta get him away. And I understand, like, he's a child, you don't want him to be manipulated, like, you have a plan. However, there's also the flip side of that, of, like, he's king, he has to engage socially. So, like, there's just little things where it's, like, even those, like, inconsequential, like, interactions, like, she's just, like, there's ways to do it right. Like, you can't just hide him from them. They're, like, probably gonna get married. You need to accept that at this point if you want the Tyrells as allies, right? Like, and it's, like, maybe it's just, like, you, like, talk to him in advance, and you're like, hey, if they try to get you to, like, do something or say something in this way, like, here's how people are going to take advantage of you. Like, there's so many other ways to do it than the ways that she does things.
Yes, that's basically one way to put it.
And that's just basically the whole theme. So, yeah, we start off with that. And just, it's like, in her eyes, he looks wrong, he acts wrong, he is wrong, and he's not Joffrey. And all of those are equally terrible things.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe, okay, but the only thing, to be fair to her, the only thing I will give her, she's also grieving her dead son. So there is a little bit of, like, missing Joffrey and, like, projecting that on him. And I don't think it's right to project it onto Tommen in any way, but I will say she is grieving. And we know that she doesn't know how to grieve very well from how she's reacting to Tywin. So that's the one thing I will give her in relation to Tommen.
Yeah. And at one point, she tells him to, like, close the curtain and, like, sit the fuck down. And he does. Tommen did as he bid. And then she's like, his meekness troubled her. The king had to be strong. Joffrey would have argued. He was never easy to cow.
Yeah. So even if she does
wants him to argue...
Exactly. It's like she wants this, like, super hyper-specific thing, Which also to me is like, is this just like her being unreasonable? I know that generally she is unreasonable, but maybe it's just like she's being hyper unreasonable just because she like also misses Joffrey so bad. So it's like like also another reason why she's unable to just see
Tommen for who he is and appreciate for him for who he is.
Yeah, because it's also, she's just like, well, man, Joffrey was the be-all, end-all, right?
Yeah, but like poor Tommen in this situation, like he's screwed if he does what she does or if he doesn't do what she wants, like, you know?
Yeah. And even when he pukes at the end, I know that like Tywin like smelled like shit and rot and everything not nice, but I also think that was probably just like a nervous breakdown too. Like just with all the pressure he's in.
Yeah,
like, on top of like just like a physical, like visceral reaction. Like I think it was also just like just every single second she is on him. And it's just so, I feel so bad. This poor kid.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin had the right idea trying to like keep her away from him, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, he has his mother and his father too, I think. But, like, really, he needs to be away from both of them.
Yeah.
Poor kid.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that, like, meekness, Joffrey would have argued, that literally happens right away. And she's like, oh, he would have argued. And then instantly, like, don't slump. Like, she's just... I can't.
And so, you know, they're going through the streets and Tommen's like, oh, there's nobody here. And she's like, well, obviously it's the rain. That's why they're not here. But inwardly she's thinking like King's Landing never loved Tywin because he sacked King's Landing and was kind of cruel, you know?
Yeah.
Not kind of, totally.
And he also says, definitely,
yeah.
As Kevin says, he did what needed to be done.
I guess.
If
what needs to be done is like, you know, killing a bunch of people, maybe... You need to reassess.
So true. But, like, when Tommen brings that up, he's, like, thinking back to how, like, when Robert died, everyone was like, wow, you know? Like, people did actually love him.
Yes.
So, okay. So just, like, I guess, like, reminder, recap. So I guess because, like, he splurged and did all the tourneys for people, and he defeated, like, because everyone thought that, like, King Aerys sucked, right? So...
Right.
Because... as far as we know, Robert wasn't that great. Like, we know.
Oh yeah, he was not a good king,
right?
but he was well loved. Like he was like the life of the party,
a celebrity,
you know?
Vibes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess people just like liked who he was, and they were like, "Hey, he's like putting us in to enter these giveaways all the time." It's like our world equivalent, you know? Like, he's so charitable. Okay, cool. I guess
you just made me flash back to like the time on YouTube when giveaways were like the height of like the thing, you know?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, but just before that, like before he's looking around, like when she's still judging everything about him, she's just pointing out like how he like kind of looks thinner and stuff. So that also to me is just like they've been using this man like so much. This boy, actually.
Like no kid should have the responsibility of a whole kingdom or 7 of them or whatever.
Yeah, like
even though he doesn't really, but yeah, they're just like grooming this kid to be the rule. Like it's just all messed up. Like let the kid be a kid and have a childhood.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah,
but yeah, I just wanted to point out he's also like physically not doing great.
Yeah. But like, yes, that's definitely a possibility.
Or if Cersei's just being...
Yeah, like he's getting older. Like kids, like when they're younger are like, you know, they've got like the baby fat, they're chubby. And then like eventually they just like grow into sticks. Or not all of them, but like, you know what I mean.
Right, like that is a common trend of like, if you're like a little plump child, then you might just get... In my head, I'm imagining like getting stretched. It's like you take what's horizontal and then you just like make it vertical. I was like seeing it happen in my head, and it was
that's
like a visceral
how growth
thought.
Works, people.
No, I'm joking, but it's just that was the image I got.
I. Wow. Oh wow. Just wow.
Sorry. Okay,
so she's like lamenting the fact that she's gotta be here like mourning in public, gotta give the mob its show.
And she's like, ugh, I don't look good in this color.
Yeah,
she has a chance to get a new dress made. No, I think she specifically says that.
Yes, she definitely says that.
She's like, this color drowns me out. Like, why can't we choose another one?
Yeah, and then she's like thinking about, eventually at one point she's thinking about like when Tyrion is dead and how she's gonna wear like bright colors to his funeral to celebrate.
Yeah. That was, I mean, nice little revenge plot in her head.
Yeah. So she's not like, she's probably grieving to some degree, but she's not really processing this death.
Oh, definitely.
In any real way.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's all about, like, the show she's got to put out.
Mm-hmm. She's like, oh, you know, when people die and then you have to, like, go act like you care. It's all too much. Like, That's basically her whole attitude to it. Yeah.
So they get to the Sept, and the High Septon's there, and he's, like, this old guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's wearing this new crown that Tywin gave him to replace the one that was stolen during the riot. And then she remembers that this guy was appointed by Tyrion. And she gets real paranoid real quick because, like, he lets them in and, like, smiles at them, just like the High Septon smiled as he escorted her into the Sept. But was it a threatening smile full of unspoken knowledge or just some vacuous twitch of an old man's wrinkled lips? I'm like, calm the fuck down. It's only a smile.
Literally. Like... This is the best use of the expression. Like, Tyrion lives in her mind rent-free. Like,
truly.
And especially now. Like, this is like negative rent. Like, she's giving
yeah, like
the mind
she's
Tyrion
paying for
rent.
him to live in there.
Yes,
something.
exactly. Like, wow. Because I think in the first chapter, I just chalked it up to, like, the shock and, like, you know, that prophecy thing, but this is like, this is a pattern now, so I guess, like, she's really shook to the core.
Uh-huh. So she's side-eyeing this poor Septon guy. Like, maybe he is, I don't know, vicious.
But I
haven't seen any evidence of that. Yeah.
I don't remember Tyrion being like, oh yeah, and we're gonna get the High Septon to spy on her. Like, we know a bunch of people that Tyrion did buy specifically to spy on Cersei, but I don't think he was one of them necessarily. I think that was just him doing his job, like, as hands.
Like, exactly. So then, oh, okay, by the way, the guy's carrying this weirwood staff topped with a crystal orb, and, like, crystals are all about the seven. But then I was like, weirwood? That was kind of interesting to me, because, like, the weirwoods are a symbol of the old gods. But then was it like, oh, I have this staff because I chopped down a weirwood? Like, I don't know. I went through this, like, real random side brain tangent thing, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good point.
Yeah, why does the Septon carry a weirwood staff? If anybody knows, let me know.
Yeah, maybe it's just, like, I think, like, what you're saying of, like, it's just, like, a powerful thing, so having, like, a powerful thing.
Yeah, you know? And it's also, like, a second instant within this book where we've seen a weirwood in, like, a religious setting. Like, there's the House of Black and White, now here, and, like, obviously the weirwoods themselves, the heart trees, but, like...
Yeah. Totally, yeah, that was interesting.
Yes. Yeah, and this is where she... After this is when she's like, oh, yeah, when Tyrion dies, I'm gonna be all dressed up for that. Please. And we learn she has declared that anyone who brings her Tyrion's head will be raised to lordship, no matter how mean or low his birth or station. And there's, like, she sent this message out to the Seven Kingdoms and also across the Narrow Sea, and, like, everybody's gonna know. So anywhere Tyrion is, people are gonna be after him.
Oh my god, yeah.
What do you think of this development?
This is terrifying. However, I do think, though, that the people who were gonna support Tyrion anyway, like, I think this just makes it hard for him to be, like, anonymous. But I do think that, like, wherever he is, there is a head start. And also, like, not much of a head start, like, a day or whatever, right? Or, like, a night, I guess. But I do think there is the head start, and I really do believe, like, the people who would have supported him will probably still do so. Like, how I was thinking, like, he would be going down to, like, the
Yeah, he might have to be more careful about hiding his identity. I don't know.
Yeah, that definitely, because he's pretty, like, distinct.
Yeah. Any other consequences you can see for this action?
I don't think so. I think it's also interesting though, because like, yeah, this is an incentive for like common people who come across him, but like, what about like people who are already lords and stuff? Like, this doesn't really
right. Like, what's the
entice
incentive
them
for
in any
them?
way. Like, you know, because then it's kind of like if he's just like, let's take down Cersei, she sucks. Like, they might want to agree with him. So I don't know if she's thought that through.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. Like, what incentive is she offering to people who already are lords? And
yeah, because I feel like most people who care enough to be like, let me get on the Queen Regent's good side, are probably like, I obviously there's like ambitious people in like every walk of life, but you know, like the higher your status, the more time you have to think about like, you know, other people's shit. Like if I'm out here trying, but I guess it's also like, if you're in a lower social class, then you want it more. So I guess it's a give and take. Because I'm just thinking, like, if I'm busy trying to survive, like, I might just not be super into, like, let me find this man. But it might also, I might be like, this is my only way to get a good, like, station in life. So, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, like, it's probably effective for her, and then it makes it harder for Tyrion to hide. Because he's like easy to identify, but I just don't know how, like, yeah, like, because I feel like many of the people with the resources to find him are lords or are under lords,
right,
who may have their own reasons for being like, because Tyrion's heir technically, right?
well, I feel like if you've been like declared a traitor to the throne, you forgo that.
Oh shit, I didn't think about that.
But if people were to argue that, you know, he didn't kill Joffrey or whatever,
right,
then he could still be heir.
That's fair, I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay, let's move on. So there's that. Jaime's there, standing vigil. I loved when you said vigiling. I thought you were going to say vigilanteing, and I was like...
oh, like, that's funny.
I thought that's where that word was going.
No, I just was like, oh, he's like... I guess holding a vigil is the right way to say it?
Yeah, standing a vigil. Standing at vigil. Or...
I couldn't think of it, so I was like, he's vigiling, you know?
No, I got it. But he's wearing his King's Guard.
Sorry, I had one question.
Yeah.
So do you remember when Tywin was like, Cersei and Jaime aren't doing shit, or Cersei and Joffrey aren't doing shit, Tyrion go be hand. So, like, in my stead or whatever. So, yeah. Was that... Okay, reminder. Did he have, like, Kevin doing other things?
Kevin was in the battlefield with him.
Okay, cool. And he had to
the sense I get is that their relationship wasn't as much of like, I'm gonna give Kevin something to do and let him go do it. More like, I need him right here, right beside me as my... It was
like almost like personal secretary.
Yes.
Therapist, keeping him sane. Friend.
I don't know how much therapy type thing, but yeah.
Not therapy,
sure.
But like, you know, like someone who like keeps him emotionally, like, not emotionally, but like, I just feel like he was like his companion is what I'm trying to say. I'm saying it wrong, but I feel like it was like this companion, like, you know, he's also like his wife that like we think I think we've heard that he loved her, is dead, and like, you know, it's like his brother, and like Kevin does say he rewards his like comrades well, so I feel like it was just like companion vibes. So I guess I get not sending Kevin, so he couldn't go because he was busy fighting all the battles and stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess I just was reflecting on the decision to send Tyrion, and I was like, I think I was just thinking about that relationship of like, wow, I trust you to do this, but I don't even see you as a full person. But you're my son, so you can do this, and people will accept it. But also, you're not my son.
It was like, you can do this more than Cersei can do this, but not that, like, you can do this better than other people can do this. But I'm not going to give, like, at least you hold a Lannister name.
Right.
So I'm not going to give this to like some other guy to represent me,
Right.
you know?
Okay, I guess. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I think Tywin is a smart lad when it comes to strategy.
And he recognized, I don't remember if he called it this, but like, in what I think in his opinion was like Tyrion's limited intelligence. Or like
right.
where am I getting that term? Like I feel like somebody referred to it as that, or maybe Tyrion referred to Cersei's limited intelligence.
Yeah.
Someone somewhere said something like that.
Okay.
But like when
I think
Tyrion is made master of coin, Tywin talks about that something.
Wait, I think you're right, because he is like, oh yeah, like, I think I know.
You've got uses, but like, stay in your station or something.
Okay. I think because when Tyrion was like, dude, I did all of this, and it was like the chain and all of this shit happened because of me, and like, you're just gonna like discard me now. I think that was probably when Tywin was like, oh no, like, I know that you can like do some things. That was probably maybe what you're thinking of. I don't remember what the
and like he was basically like, that was your job, that was the bare minimum. Right, you want recognition for that, like
yeah. Okay, yeah, I kind of remember that happening. Yeah, but okay, yeah. I guess I was just thinking about that, and I was like, that was weird. Yeah, that was just my thought. Okay.
Okay, so Jaime is there in Kingsguard uniform, and Cersei's like, well, Dad would have wanted him in Lannister stuff, but whatever. And then they go up, and Tommen's crying, and she's like, shut the fuck up, which, you know, of course. Yeah. And then she's thinking to herself, like, oh, he needs me. It's weird. Like, she tells him to weep quietly and like stop squalling like a child. And then she's like, oh my God, he's so like, and then she like puts his arm around her and like kisses him and is like, oh, he needs me to rule and keep him safe from the enemies.
Yeah.
It's a real weird thing.
Yeah. And she's also like thinking about like how he looks like Joffrey looked at his age, and like, I don't know. There's just like a lot of thoughts going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she's thinking. Yeah. Well, no, she's thinking that Jaime looked like Tommen. But had Joffrey's fierce heart. So like, Jaime's the perfect person. So she's like trying to recreate Jaime and her kids.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't.
But then she calls Jaime bloody useless. And
exactly. It's not like she holds him in really much high regard at all.
She just like is never satisfied.
I think that's true.
I think like I do wonder like
no set.
Like I do want. I know that she like probably is avoiding thinking too much about Joffrey beyond like, oh, he was such a great king, just so she doesn't like have to grieve or like really get into it substantially. But I do want to get at some point like, did she genuinely think like Joffrey was like doing the right thing? Like every time he did something that she didn't want him to, like was she like, oh, I'm testing you, it's great you're fighting back?
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna examine that at all.
Lovely. Okay, well, I want to know.
Like, she might. I honestly don't remember, but like from what I'm getting from her personality, it's more like avoid the things I don't like to think about, like the sex worker in my dad's bed, and only focus on the things I do want to think about. You know?
That makes sense.
And then add in a few paranoid thoughts that don't really exist anywhere but in my head. Like, you know?
So true. And then let them control my actions.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I do agree. I think I just want to know, like, if she's ever been satisfied. Because I think Tywin is too celebrity for it to be satisfaction. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, she holds him in high regard, but I think there's still things where she's like, oh, I'm going to do that better than him. It's
yeah, like, but also she is resentful of him for making her marry Robert and then wanting to, like, marry her off again.
Totally. It's like she has all these complicated feelings, but she never truly delves into them. We just get these little glimpses. And then
so what we're saying is that this series is really just to advocate for everybody getting therapy.
is that not every series? Like, ever.
Yes.
But also, like, I did just want to say another, like, yes, the, like, shaming Tommen is a big theme. Her avoiding all her problems is a big theme. And if I had to point out a third one right now, it's, like, obviously Delulu, but, like, we knew that. However, there's, like, so
we
much,
done
like,
knew she Delulu.
Yes. However, there's, like, a next level Delulu that I think I didn't, like, fully realize or, like, think about.
Give me an example, please.
No, I'm getting there. Which is that she, like, for example, right before she, like, sort of sees Jaime, she's thinking about, like, how she sees everyone and, like, all the bannermen and knights who had fought beside Lord Tywin in 100 battles. And she sees them and she feels more confident. She's like, I'm not without friends. And it's, like, this interesting, and the entire chapter is her being like, oh, well, people are sad Tywin's gone, but, like, I'm Tywin now. Like, I can do it better than him. Like, she has these thoughts, like, even later when she's talking to Kevin, where she's like, oh, if you just serve me as faithfully as you did him, I can solve these problems in the same way he would have. Like, she genuinely thinks
like,
that,
delusion about her abilities.
Yes, delusion about her abilities, where she genuinely thinks that she has all the exact tact and all the wisdom and everything that Tywin had. And it's just, like, it's just a really high level of Delulu. And I knew that she was really Delulu, but I just didn't realize that, like, she thought she was Tywin and that she was better than Tywin, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe this is another...
She really believes that the only thing that has held her back is her gender.
Yeah. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out that it is, like, I do understand, like, for example, Tywin, especially before sorry, let me re-say that entire sentence. So, before Jaime was appointed to the Kingsguard, we know, especially before that, but even after that, Tywin had kind of been grooming him to be his heir, right? Like, we know that Tywin always wanted Jaime to be his heir. And I think, I do kind of agree with Cersei where, like, she has natural, like, cleverness and, ability to, like manipulate and trick people and, like, play the game, essentially, right? I do think that there is some ability there. But what I think that I do think, like, we don't know, like, maybe if her dad had recognized that and focused on it, that maybe she could have been good if Tywin had helped her hone those abilities.
Her talent.
Fostered her talent and honed those abilities.
Oh, yeah.
Because I do think there's a world in which she is good at what she does. But this isn't it, because she hasn't worked on any of that. She has nothing beyond pure cunning. That's all she has, because she has cunning, but then she's so ruled by her whims that it's like, it doesn't get her anywhere, because it's like all the forward steps that she's able to take, then she takes like 3 steps back instantly, because she's like, well, I can't have them think of me this way. And she just doesn't, like, it's like, she doesn't realize that she has to build her reputation. She can't just inherit Tywin's reputation. And, like, she doesn't get that. Like, she's like, at every sign of someone disobeying her, she just lashes. Like, she doesn't think about it. And it's just so frustrating, because I get where she's coming from. Like, I do agree that if he'd helped her, maybe she could have. Yeah. But she's still Delulu. At the end of the day, she's still Delulu, and the entire universe isn't against you. Well, a lot of the universe is against you, but you're also against yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway. That is basically my biggest thought about this chapter.
Very smart thought. You're so smart.
So are you. Oh my god.
No, but I have nothing to add to that, because you put that very well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tywin sucked for not, teaching her and improving her skills and everything. Mm-hmm. And she sucks for not seeing that she sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. They're both to blame, but definitely, like, parents are where most of our issues come from. So,
so true.
Yeah, deep dive into Tywin and his psyche. Next time on I was gonna say Dr. Phil, but like try to make a Song of Ice and Fire joke, but I didn't go anywhere. So I just it's just there. We're gonna move on.
Please.
Yeah, okay, so looking at the body, blah blah blah. Oh, his lips are curving upwards as his body decays, giving him a look of vague bemusement. And she's like super mad because he never smiled. And she's blaming Pycelle, who should have told the Silent Sisters.
Okay, but this is the one thing in the world I won't blame Pycelle for.
I don't think it's anybody's fault.
No, that's what I mean, yeah, because we even later find, like, they fully confirm that, like, that's just how bodies work. Like, they're drying up, like, you know? Yeah. He probably, because you know, like that cheesy quote, it takes double the muscles to frown than it does to smile. So he was so busy using the frowning muscles that when he died, it was like, okay, let's not recoil. What? Yeah, recoil. Yeah. Like go back, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
But while she's thinking about him never smiling, she thinks about how his eyes had always been unsettling. His eyes could see inside you, could see how weak and worthless and ugly you were down deep. When he looked at you, you knew. Girl. That's telling me a lot.
Yeah.
A whole lot.
Yeah.
And also adding on to the pile that we're shitting on Tywin, you know?
Yes. I had to stop for a second.
Your parent makes you feel weak, worthless, and ugly, and when they look at you, you know that that's what you are? What?
And what? Yeah.
What happened? But then this is the same thing she's doing to Tommen, though, because this is how she was raised, so she thinks this is how you parent.
Yeah. She's like, oh yeah, of course, if I hadn't felt worthless, I wouldn't be where I am now. And it's like, well, you're right, but in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's deeply concerning, for sure. The tagline of this episode is like, please learn how to be a parent before you become a parent. Like, please.
Please consider that choice.
Children have feelings and long-term repercussions beyond what you could ever think your impact would be on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There should be, like, to drive a car, you need a license, but you don't need shit to be a parent. Like,
you just kind of like fuck, and then like it happens. Like,
yeah,
that's crazy.
You know?
Yeah.
And like, but on the same hand, like for queer people and trans people, it's made extra like this thing that can just happen for other people is just like more and more barriers are added onto it.
100%.
So, like, you know, that's like a society saying, oh, you're not worthy parents. But then just anybody else who can just have sex and produce babies is worthy parents. What?
Yeah.
Okay. It's all messed up, y'all.
It is
just
totally messed up.
I'm about to have like a society crisis.
Oh my god. So true.
It's so bad.
Yep.
So, if you're thinking about having kids, think about it.
Like,
if somebody wants to have kids and they will be good parents, help them out. I don't know.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know what else to say.
Sponsor an egg today.
Yeah. So.
Okay, but with this whole, like, when he looked at you, you knew trauma dumping session.
Yeah.
Okay, then she's remembering, like, how, you know, Tywin could just stare at someone and, like, destroy them. And she's thinking back to the specific memory with old Merryweather. Who is this?
Probably the, like, Lord Merryweather who has hence died.
Like, just, like, in a random battle? Like, is he significant? Because I feel like all these throwback stories always reference something that's important. Like, the one that happens later where they're referencing, like, Ned's dad being burned alive.
Okay, no. Lord Riker is the one that Tywin stared at. Merryweather was just talking about something. Oh, he's just one. Okay. We meet, like, I think his son's wife later. Lady Tana Merriweather.
Yeah, when we also met her, I was like, okay, now we've had this name twice. Are these people important? Should I know who they are?
I
Or
think
they
it's
like
just
some household
George being like, look, remember houses, here, throw them in.
Okay, so are they under the Lannister group?
I think from my memory they are maybe sworn to the Reach, but I cannot be 100% sure.
Okay.
I can look into that for you. Yes, so they're sworn to the Tyrells.
Oh, okay.
So they're like lords in the Reach.
Sounds
and so this Merriweather guy was probably like the older Merriweather who was on the council at the time of Tywin and King Aerys.
Okay.
And now his son's around. Because like that, you know, like everybody's son is around. But the guy that Tywin stared at was this Lord Riker. I don't know anything about him. But he probably learned his lesson that day.
So true.
All right, so yeah, she's thinking about how great he was and everything he had done and how he deserved rainbows shining down on his corpse and everything. And then she's like, I shall be greater, though. 1,000 years from now, when the Maesters write about this time, you shall be remembered only as Queen Cersei's sire.
This is what I'm saying. Like,
she has like a grandiose personality. Something.
Yes. It's like she knows how much he has done and his impact. And yet
but like even like if she wasn't comparing herself to Tywin, who like he may have done great things, but they were greatly terrible things, you know, whatever. Yeah. I don't know. Do you ever think like, oh, people are gonna write about me as like the greatest person that ever lived? Like that's not really a normal thing for people to be thinking. But also like, what the hell is normal? But like, you know, like
yeah, I think the most I've ever come close to this, because I'm the best example for this, because I do think that I have a little bit of an ego. I do not think that I'm Cersei, but I also like sometimes I do think that I have more ego than the average person, like in a bad way. Like that's something I need to work on.
I don't know. I think the fact that you think that indicates that you're just regular.
Okay, but it's an insecurity. Not an insecurity, but it's a thing that I feel that I have to work on, okay? And so I'm saying, like, so I'm trying to, like, think, like, could I ever think like this? No. Even I, like, this is, like, I don't think I've ever had a thought that was, like, people are gonna cower at my gate. Like, no. No. I think, like, yeah, like, the closest is just, like, I think it's also just interesting, because, like, I guess her dad is Tywin, so it makes sense, but, like, she wants people to... Because I also think about Sansa, and I think, you know, I always compare myself to Sansa a little bit, too, where I think Sansa would want, like, all of them to love her, but everyone to, like, know who she is, and write songs about her, and remember her 1,000 years from now. But I think she would want it to be admiration out of, like, love and respect. But Cersei just, like, wants the fear. And, like, they're gonna flinch at my gaze.
Sansa and Cersei had that exact conversation during the Battle of Blackwater.
I literally forgot that. Oh, yeah, because wasn't she, like...
Yeah, like, Cersei's like, people should fear you, and inwardly Sansa was like, I want them to love me.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I probably had that in my mind when I was thinking that then. That was not an original thought as I thought it was. Okay. I really thought
there is no such thing as original thought.
No, you're right. But oh my god, yeah. Okay, I have vague memories of this now. Okay, Slay, yeah. Okay, yeah, then I'm definitely
I loved when
right.
you were presenting it. I was like, what?
Anyway, yeah, wow, guys. I actually wrote this book.
So after this, we get our first indication that Tywin smells real bad. Now, obviously, he is literally decaying on a table for several days. Like, he's going to smell bad. But theory time, people think he smelled extra bad because of all the poison that the Red Viper gave him.
I was going to say that. I wrote this during Jaime's chapter. Because here I was just like, okay, he was... in the toilet, you know? But then when they kept bringing it up, I was like, okay, you did tell me about the theory. So I was like, maybe it's poison, but then I was like, does poison make it... I don't know. But that makes sense. If he was literally on the toilet as he was doing it, clearly that was in his digestive, going on. So
I'm just like, yeah, it adds to the theory. So I'm going to point it out.
slay.
So she's looking around at who's there. Kevin's there. Lancel's there, who looks real. He looks worse than her dad. Wait, she says Lancel looks worse than father. I thought it said like his father, like he looks older, but no, right. She literally says father.
Yeah. I will say, Cersei's one-liners are so funny. Earlier on this page, she said she's like, when she's blaming Pycelle for Tywin smiling, she's like, the man is as useless as nipples on a breastplate.
Yeah.
It's just like, she just has like, she'll have like, you'll go the entire chapter hating on her, and then she just has like one really funny line, and you're like, oh, you're so entertaining. Anyway, Cersei's funny. But yeah, yes. She's like, he literally looks worse than this dead man.
Yeah. Though only 17, he might have passed for 70. Gray-faced, gaunt, with hollow cheeks, sunken eyes, and hair as white and brittle as chalk. And I'm like, Cersei, you did that. Remember when he was injured and then you punched him in his injury, thus making him close to his deathbed? Just like, no, like, just doesn't acknowledge that, remember that at all.
Okay, wait. Yeah. Okay. So he, like, fought in the battle too, right? Or was he already just, like, in a coma? Like, in the Battle of the Blackwater?
Oh, no. Yeah, that's when... So he was, like, injured in the battle. He goes to, like, give Cersei a message, and Cersei punches him in his wound. And Lancel literally has to be carried out, because he's, like...
Why did she do that again? I don't remember that.
I think he was saying... Oh, she was like, bring Joffrey back, and Lancel had the gall to be like, that's fucking stupid.
Oh, okay, right.
Remember that? Like, Joffrey was out on the battlements.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
like,
and then she brought him in anyway. So
yeah, and that, like, almost lost them the entire battle.
Yes, yeah.
Until Tyrion was like, if I can do this, y'all are cowards for not doing it. And, you know, he went out and did the whole thing.
Oh my god. This girl is, like, if she was a real life person, she'd be unbearable. And she is unbearable. However,
but at least she's fiction.
Exactly, yeah. Wow.
So then she's looking to Marjorie and is like, oh, she looks a lot like her brother. I wonder if they have other things in common. Our little crazy. Rose had a good many ladies waiting in attendance on her day and night. Like,
what? Now she's creating fan theories about characters, not even
exactly.
Us. Like, she's like, oh, well, this girl hasn't gotten laid in her other marriages yet.
Yeah.
I wonder why that is. Wow. She's just this is just fan theories. Wow.
Then she's assessing her ladies in waiting and being like, oh, who can I exploit here?
Yeah.
I gotta find out.
Yeah. She's like, who can I use to my advantage? Let's go.
It's just her every thought. Like, look at just how she's like roller coastering through her head. Like,
Lancel looks worse than father. Pycelle had his eyes closed. If he's fallen asleep, I swear I'll have him whipped. Like, this is all in half a page, you guys. From Lancel, literally 2 paragraphs. And she has, like, 3 quips, 3 thoughts about, like, doing bad things to people. Like, within half a page. Like, this girl just, like, she's a roller coaster. That just, the off button has been lost.
Yes, it is, I don't even know what to say, but, like, other than what you've already said.
Yeah, she's just a lot. And then, yeah, like, they finally stop singing. Smell's getting worse. Some people are wrinkling their noses, but they're trying not to.
Yeah. Everybody gathers around her to give her condolences. She's like, yeah, just get it over with. Like, she's, like, putting on this fake smile, and she's like, my face is frozen like this. I can barely talk anymore.
That's like you with your jaw right now.
And then Lady Phallus Stokeworth comes up. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Is she a Stokeworth? I know her mom's a Stokeworth, so is she a Stokeworth?
It says of Stokeworth.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
She's like, because like I guess her last name is whatever her husband's last name is, but like he's of no consequence, so like her last name is what really matters.
Right, yeah.
So what are we saying? Oh yeah, she comes up and tells Cersei that her mom couldn't be there because she's with Lawless, who's like in bed because she's pregnant for having been sexually assaulted by multiple people. And is like, oh, if she has a boy, we want to name him Tywin, if that's cool. And Cersei, your sister gets herself raped. Excuse you?
What the fuck? Literally, what the fuck, Cersei?
Like, no. And then she's like, oh, you're gonna honor that bastard with my father's name? I think not. Like,
so fucked up.
It just okay. What? Just say no. Like, why do you just
so many thoughts? A, you said yes to because later in the chapter, everyone's asking her to like name people Tywin, and she's like, yeah, whatever. So A, fuck you for just for this one. Like, okay, just because he's a bastard, like, fuck you. 2, B, super fucked up to say, completely untrue, completely wrong. 3, even beyond that, like, if you use like 2 seconds of critical thinking, you guys were the ones who were like, let's go parading through the city and bring our people. Like, if anything, that was directly your fault.
Oh, and the riot was like heightened by Joffrey telling the Hound to kill somebody. And also the entire situation was caused by them being bad rulers.
Yes,
like,
exactly. It's like, no matter how you look at it, if you go down to like the minuscule details, or if you look at the overarching thing, like, in any situation, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Every single action leading up to those moments was your fault. And you can't even show any amount of sympathy or like, I'm sorry that happened or anything. And so you can't do that, but beyond that, you're gonna say something as fucked up as this? It's like, how do you just keep getting worse.
And like, I imagine other people listening to this, or the people that she's just said this to, like, how is this building any kind of anything?
Exactly. Even beyond like the person to person being mean and horrific and terrible to say, it's just bad for you being a ruler. Like, politically, it's also bad. Like, in what world? This is like, she just acts on her whims. Like, this wasn't strategy. This wasn't, like, emotional relief. This wasn't anything. Except for just, it was just her
being vicious.
Yeah, she just sucks. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, screw you.
Phallus, Phales, I don't know. It's like, it rhymes with lawless, so phallus, I guess. Maybe it doesn't rhyme with lawless, but I'm just, because they're sisters, I'm doing it. But her husband's like, oh yeah, we'll find a better name, and then just kind of ushers her away. And then, like, the Tyrells surround them. No. It's Lancel's turn, actually, who looks as the very picture of a man with one foot in the grave. But is he climbing in or climbing out? What do you think? Is he climbing into his grave or climbing out?
Probably. This poor...
No. Which one?
Like, probably climbing in.
Okay, so you think he's like... Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, she's like, oh, I'm so happy to see you looking so much stronger. We got such bad reports. Not that I caused it or anything. And, he's like, she's asking him about when he's going to take the dairy lands up. Remember that place?
Yeah.
And she's like... And, like, she brings up how he's to be married, and he's like, yeah, I'm marrying a Frey, not one of my choosing. She's not even a maiden. Like, excuse you, sir, you were sleeping with your cousin. Like, Right?
So
Like the
true.
gall. The literal gall.
So true.
And then, yeah, so she's a widow of dairy blood, so I'm gonna, but okay, by the way, you don't have to put this together, but through that, the information given to us that she was married to somebody, to a dairy, this girl is the daughter of the guy that died in the last epilogue. Remember, he's like, oh, my daughter had to be married off, and then, like, her husband died, so she came right back, and all the grooms were happy to see her because they could, like, continue with their sex endeavors.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Right?
Right, because, yeah.
Like, he was happy to have married her off, but then
Right.
she came right back because her husband died.
Because he was like, oh, yeah, everything goes wrong in my life.
Exactly.
Oh, shit. Okay. Oh,
but
damn.
this is, like, her.
Oh, so she's getting married again.
Yeah, to Lancel, which, oh, so sorry for you. And then Cersei's like, oh yeah, no, he goes to be like, I have to do this, but you know that I love, and then she fills in House Lannister.
We're in public,
and she's
buddy.
like, oh, bless you, bless your marriage. And then, like, in her head, she thinks best not let her lord grandfather host the wedding, though. So even in world,
so
people are making
funny.
red wedding jokes. What?
This was so funny, and I hate that it was funny. I was like, literally, y'all are vicious, man. Oh, God.
Yeah. So this is when Lancel brings up that he's been, like, hanging out, or, like...
Okay, wait. Sorry. So... Okay, wait. He says, like, oh, like, I can't go to Derry yet because there's outlaws in my castle? Is that just, like, the old Derry people? Or, like, I don't know what he means.
I don't think we know.
Okay.
Like, specifically.
Because I'm wondering, is this, like
honestly,
our
everybody...
outlaws
like,
made it? Or is everyone just outlaws now because the situation sucks?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Just pointed it out in case it becomes a thing.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Did we... Okay, I might be making this up. Did we maybe hear about the Brotherhood Without Banners maybe killing somebody in Derry?
I honestly could not tell you either way.
So it could be them, but I don't remember.
Okay, cool.
Because, like, we know that they've been, like, out killing Freys and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Is
maybe
Derry
they've
a
made
Frey? Or maybe the Derry... I thought the Derry died in, like, regular war things. Honestly, I don't know anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, we don't know. I'm sure somebody knows. If you really want to tell us, please do. I mean, that sounded weird, but, like, we want to know. But, like, if it's worth knowing, then do tell us, you know? Like, if you feel like it's not important, then, like, save yourself the time. But, like, we would still appreciate it. Did I make myself clearer or more convoluted? Like,
you're good. We're good. I think they believe us. We're good.
So...
Okay,
yeah,
so is he still down bad after getting kicked by her and shoved to the like, this is... Boy... Come on!
Yeah, but also he's been hanging out with the Septon and atoning for his sins.
Dun, dun, dun.
Do you think he's told the Septon anything about anything?
Maybe? It's possible.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I just don't know if him telling the Septon would be very consequential. Like, I feel like there's other people he could have told his dad.
Depends on what he tells, though. Like, she says, like, if it's about, like, he slept with me, and she's like, people lie. Like, that's what they do, right? Yeah. But if he starts talking about poisoning Robert...
Right, yeah.
That's, like, straight up treason.
Right.
You know? And the High Septon is the High Septon. In the... church or the sept, his is the highest position, so
yeah, I think maybe not, because there probably would have been consequence, like, you know, it would be weird if nothing had happened yet with that, you
right
know? Like, other
but
than
maybe this High Septon is more loyal than Cersei believes him to be.
Right.
And heard the confessions and was like, okay, we're going to put those away in this box now and never talk about it. Right, Lancel?
Yeah. I guess it's possible. I'm predicting maybe not. Like, he hasn't told him.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. And then this is where, like, more people come and ask her to name people Tywin, and she's like, the realm will drown in Tywins. But she graciously, she gave consent as graciously as she could, feigning delight.
Yeah. I was also wondering, Kay, so the reason Lancel was, like, a player in the whole Robert wine thing was because he was Robert's squire, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, did she knight him because he did that for her? Like, he did that, so she's like, slay? Much. Okay, cool. Because she literally is like, knighting him was a mistake, betting him was a mistake, and I was like, so you just did those? Like, why did you do them? Okay, so I guess that makes sense. Like, he literally helped her kill off, like, this big... we learned
that she was betting her. Like, Tyrion reflects on how similar to Jaime he looks like. So I think she was trying to, like, fill the Jaime void by
having sex
with Lancel.
I know, like, and why she did it, but I just...
The knighting thing was... Yeah.
Like, knighting thing was like, hey, you're my pawn, like, you did this.
Mm-hmm.
When I say, like, I don't get why, like, I understand what her reasons were, but I just don't understand why she would overlook the logic of not doing it to do it. Like, the knighting him, okay, I get that. Like, you know, when people are like...
But she just acts on her whims. I think you just said that.
I know, but I still just, like, I'm like, come on, like... We can't be that Delulu, right? Oh no, we are. Okay. Because it's like, she makes these big mistakes. Then she even admits, like, oh wait, I shouldn't have done that. But then it doesn't go from, oh, I shouldn't have done that thing, to then realizing, maybe I'm doing things wrong. It's like she thinks the mistakes are isolated instances. But she doesn't realize that she's just bad at this.
That's just a pattern. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. That's my Cersei hate for the page.
She's talking to the Tyrells, but, doing it begrudgingly. Mm-hmm. It's not until Lady Merryweather she talks to that she's truly pleased. And, Your Grace, that one said in her sultry, mirrish tones, I have sent word to my friends across the narrow sea, asking them to seize the imp at once should he show his ugly face in the free city. So, like, she's telling Cersei exactly what she wants to hear, and Cersei's like, finally, somebody who's here to give me something instead of take something from me. What do you think of this Merryweather?
I don't know. This is interesting. Do we know, like... Do we have any ink? Like, is she just, like... So she's just, like, some girl from around there who got married to this Merryweather guy? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just wonder, like... I don't know. She's interesting, though. This could be
She smells of sin, like some exotic lotus, according to Cersei, which is like,
this
what?
Was a weird...
How do you smell of sin?
This was a weird statement. But I don't know. I do real. Like... I think from the part of my brain that wants to root for Cersei because she's a POV, this could be an interesting partnership to see. Like, she could lead her down some, like, reasonable routes.
Or feed her delusions.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah, but so, of all the people in the Reach, this is the only one she's like, maybe I like her. And maybe only because she's not from the Reach,
So true, yeah.
And she's like, okay, we'll talk again. Let's be friends. And she literally says that. Mm-hmm. And then, the Lord of Highgarden descended on her. So please. Mace Tyrell corners her. And he's like, oh, condolences. We shall never see his like again. You are looking at his like, fool, Cersei thought.
Once again, same patterns.
Yeah, but she needed Tyrell and the strength of Highgarden to keep Tommen on the throne, so all she said was, he will be greatly missed. But, like, so she's recognizing their importance now, but then, like, totally snubbing them later?
Once again.
What happened to your reflections just from a minute ago.
Whims.
Yeah. So then Tyrell's like, oh, you know, I'm here if you need me for anything.
Wink, wink,
And,
nudge, nudge.
Yeah. If you want to be king's hand, my lord, have the courage to say it plainly. The queen smiled. Let him read into that as much as he likes. Surely my lord is needed in the Reach. My son Willis is an able lad, the man replied, refusing to take her perfectly good hint. So she's like, you be plain, but I'm gonna talk in hints. Like, what? Just like, you have the courage to just say it plainly. Like, I ain't making you mad.
Yeah. But I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. It's just, I love when she contradicts herself. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
So he's talking about how Tywin had appointed his uncle Garth as the master of coin, and how Garth's about to board a ship in Old Town and, like, be on his way. Mm-hmm. And also that we're going to get his sons in the city watch and stuff. Like, are we still good to do that? And Cersei's like, oh, that's too bad. Just last night I was talking to Lord Giles, and I totally made him master of coin. And he has done me the honor of accepting. And Macy's like, what? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Meanwhile, the Queen of Thorns comes up and is like, oh, well, it's fine. It looks like there was a misunderstanding. I guess Tywin just didn't share his plans with our regent. I can't imagine why. I love her.
She's so good. Cersei hates her, though. Cersei's like that babbling old woman.
Yeah, because she's, like, actually smart, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And also, reminder, the one responsible for Joffrey's death.
Yeah.
So.
She's gonna hate her more.
Yep. And then they're talking about, like, the smell. I do abhor fall smells. I caught a whiff of something like that in the sept.
Oh my god.
Noah's Cersei's like, she's like, oh, you smelled it too, maybe. And Cersei's like, no, a scent, you say? No, more like a stink. Perhaps you miss your autumn roses. We have kept you here too long. So she's like trying to get her to leave. Yeah. And then she's like, oh, I'll leave as soon as Marjorie's married. This like whole thing is just so.
It's so like, yeah, like none of them are ever direct, and it's so funny.
Yeah. Imagine the things that could be done if people were just talked like real people. But like also, if she said to Cersei, like, I'm not leaving until you marry my kid, like, you know, in a straight way, Cersei's gonna be like, oh, you're against me, behead her, like, literally. Something, you know?
Yeah, it is a necessity, but still. Mm-hmm.
But it's very entertaining for us. So that's why I just basically read 2 whole pages out loud.
No, but that's the thing. Like, everything is just so intense. And it's like, you gotta go with all of it.
Yeah. So Cersei's like, soon we'll set a date.
Also, I was confused. So what's Garland doing? What do they mean? Like, I don't get it.
So Garland's his uncle who lives in the Reach. Mm-hmm. And Tywin agreed to make him master of coin. No, not Garland. Garth. Who's Garland?
No, I'm saying it says he's talking about his sons. Garland's his middle son, I think, right?
Right.
Because he's talking about how like Willis is gonna like I'm not needed in the Reach because Willis can handle it. And then he says like, and Garland will soon take Bridgewater. I don't know what that means.
Hang on, let me find it.
Because then he says between them, the Reach will be in good hands. So where's Garland right now that he needs to get to the Reach?
Hang on. I haven't found it. You're going too fast. Where does he say this?
This is right before...
Oh, yes. Okay, I found it. I found it. I don't remember where Brightwater is, but I just assumed it was some kind of castle that he was taking control of, like, whatever.
Because it was, like, I looked at the map and it's, like, close to Old Town.
So maybe that's, like, so being a second son, he's been assigned the secondary house keep, you know?
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, it's the keep it's the place of the Florents who have now sided with Stannis, so it's empty.
Oh, it's
Stannis
becoming his now.
Yeah.
Okay. Slay.
There you go. Are we good to move on?
Yeah, I was just writing it down. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Cersei's like, soon we'll set a date for their wedding, and the Queen of Thorns is like, soon's good enough. Let's go and leave her grace to her grief. With a very poignant pause.
I loved that.
And Cersei's like, I'll kill you, and just watches her walk away. We'll see how sweet a corpse you make. What?
Yeah. Wow.
Oh God. I don't think I definitely read that sentence, but I don't think I processed that sentence.
Yeah. This is the thing, like, she's like, yeah, the old woman was twice as clever as her lord son. That was plain. And it's like, you're seeing these things, but you're just not using your knowledge very well. Like,
yeah, there's like a disconnect between her senses and her processes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, oh my God, we're dissing on Cersei so much, but like, what else could we do?
And we have given her reasonable, like, we're acknowledging what needs to be acknowledged on the positive side, but she's just like, she just does a lot of things wrong, like, objectively. Maybe, you know what I said for Stannis, where I was like, hey, if you're a true Stannis stanner, reach out and maybe it'll convince me. You know what? If you genuinely think that some of the things we're saying are unfair, hit us up. Let us know. Because we would love to know. But from what it's looking like right now, this girl is hard to defend. And I think it's also just one of those chapters where it's increasingly clear how much she's messing up. And maybe it is done that way on purpose to show that, like, she's not in the right mental headspace, you know, and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I will hold the jury on that until I see her later and see if she gets worse or better or the same. So we'll see.
I will just say that you will be surprised.
Oh, really? Well, I don't know which... Okay, that's just confusing. Okay, moving on. I don't know what that means.
Well, it's supposed to be confusing. I can't just tell you outright.
I know. Okay.
Okay, so she then now has to like rush to catch up with Giles to actually ask him to be her master of coin. And what is it? He began coughing so violently that she feared he might die right there and then, but the mother was merciful and he eventually recovered sufficiently to accept.
She's so funny. She's so funny. Like,
and even began coughing out the names of men he wanted to replace: customs officer and wolf factors appointed by Littlefinger, even one of the keepers of the keys, like coughing out the names.
So funny. Okay, so...
But also, this guy's on his deathbed. Why are you doing this?
He wants to take the job seriously. I respect it. Also,
yeah, well, obviously he's got fancy-looking clothes and stuff, so he's super rich. That means he's really good with money, because rich people are always good with money.
So, totally logical. Great deductive reasoning, Cersei. I love it.
And she's like, oh, I know he's gonna die, but when he dies, I'll find someone else. Maybe I'll call Littlefinger back. Like,
okay, so did this guy just hate Littlefinger? Because he's like, oh yeah. Or does he just, like, care enough about the job and he's like, I think you did a bad job? Or does he just want to get his own men in there?
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
But he does want to replace Littlefinger's people, so that is interesting. But
yeah,
maybe that is, like, those are, like, the main people, so you do want them...
like, on your side and, like,
yeah,
doing your shit.
Loyal to you.
That makes sense. And also, yeah, once again, these people not giving a shit about the crown being in debt, her being like, I don't really care what you do as long as we keep getting money, is basically her whole attitude.
Yes.
And Kate...
She also tells him that, like, if anybody asks, you joined the council yesterday.
I mean, fair.
Yes. Yesterday, to be sure. Like, I can't get through a sentence without coughing, which... just, like, let him rest, you know?
Yeah, I know. Poor guy. But
Yeah.
the only other thing was just like, okay, so this whole Littlefinger thing, I think I didn't realize this, or maybe it wasn't specified. Like, is it just like he's been physically gone for a while, so he can't do his job, or did he like quit? Because I just figured he was just
Remember
gone.
Tyrion was made Master of Coin after
But I thought that was like temporary. I didn't realize he quit / isn't in the role anymore.
Yeah. I'm sure that if he came back, they would give him the role, but like, yeah, I don't think he's that.
So I guess it was just like, we need someone for the job because
Yeah.
you're going to be gone for an extended while because you got to establish your stuff over there. Okay, because I was just confused. I was like, did he quit and I didn't know it? Is this a discovery? Like, I was just
It's
so
like
confused.
whoever's hired on like an indefinite term, like
Right.
you know.
Because Lord knows what's going to happen with the other ones.
Yeah.
So you can't really hire people temporarily because who knows what temporary means.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because I was just confused. I was like, oh my god. Because then I started worrying. Because I was like, if they replace him, and then that means Littlefinger never has to come back, then that means he never has to drop Sansa off somewhere. So I started panicking. Do you know what I mean? Because if he doesn't have to come back, because in my head, because I remember even predicting, like, he's gonna drop her off at the Fingers on the way back, because he has to come back, because it's his job. But if he
I don't know. Like, if Cersei asks him, he might have to, but he might be able to come up with a good enough excuse not to.
Right, like, I'm working on this, and if we don't do this, then you won't secure this area.
Yeah, he can't just say no plainly. He'll
right,
still
totally,
have to justify his answer, or, in fact, come back.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
So we move on from this. Basically, we gotta get a move on. She's in her room. She gets there finally, and she's like finally taking her shoes off when Qyburn wants to see her. And Qyburn's, you remember him, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've learned that the Varys has disappeared. Like, it's confirmed, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And we knew he was Rugen the jailer.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been looking into his cells, and it was like all empty except his chamber pot was overflowing. And under that chamber pot, they found this loose stone where you can hide stuff. And in that spot, they found this gold coin. But not a regular gold coin like a golden dragon, but this coin from the Reach that has the old, like, gardener symbol on it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, wait, what does this mean? Like, okay, we know this was Varys, and, like, the Tyrells had nothing to do with it, or as far as we know, the Tyrells had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So is Varys planting, like, a... like, fake, framing the Tyrells?
Yeah, like a little red herring, like, in the book. Maybe. I was thinking of that too. Or, like, either planting a thing, or, like, maybe, I don't know. I guess that's really the only explanation, because I don't see him being that clumsy. Like, do you know what I mean? Just, like, accidentally,
right.
like...
But also, like...
It's a pretty secret spot. Like, you don't just,
yeah.
like... I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of, because maybe he knew, like... I don't know, but he... I don't know, bro. Because it's like... Because the thing is, this would imply... If he planted this... I guess I just wonder... Okay, so I guess... Okay, sorry. It just... Brain. Okay. Brain was going... Like, brain was turning the lights off. Okay. So I guess he just wants to be able to blame someone, right? Because then we hear about how Jaime had, like, coaxed him into getting Tyrion out. So I guess his plan was, like... You know... then, like, someone gets framed, and then, like, so I guess he wants Cersei to trust the Tyrells even less. Like, he wants that divide even more, which would be interesting. That's kind of all I get from it, is just, like, he wants that divide. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. I could have just said he wants to drive them apart.
So that's like the first news he comes with. Then he's talking about Sir Gregor, who he has examined, and he's figured out that it was manticore venom he used, but it was like thickened somehow to draw out the dying.
Mm-hmm.
And Cersei's like with what? And he says with a spell, which is
shocking.
I don't think I realized that the Red Viper could do spells.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I don't know. I believe Qyburn, honestly. Like
I buy it.
He doesn't sound like a great guy, but I believe him.
He sounds like a smart guy, not a kind guy.
Yeah, and he's just like, he's dying real slow, and it's kind of a miracle that he's still alive.
Oh my god.
And it's probably his size that's kept him alive so far.
Mm-hmm.
So Cersei's like, yeah, go ahead and take his head off so that we can send it to the Martells. And Qyburn's like, well, what if I just like did other things?
Mm-hmm.
But before that, he's okay. So she asks him, why did the Citadel take your chain? So he tells us that he experimented on live people.
Yeah.
Just like evil scientist at it's like
yes, this is the trope. Yes, the trope.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Real fucked up.
Yeah, nothing to add, just craziness all around.
Yeah, and Cersei's like, you know what? That's fine. Totally cool. Yeah, take the mountain and do whatever you need to do. Just take him to the Black Cell so I don't have to hear his screams.
No.
It's all good.
She hears that and she's like, I'm in. Like,
yeah.
What? She's like, oh yeah, this is a powerful, yeah, let's do it. Let's find out.
But also, the guy seems to agree with Marvin. So does that mean Marvin agrees with him? Because then I'm now side-eyeing the mage.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Because I thought he was cool. Like, everyone else side-eyes, like, expanding knowledge and shit. But now he's, like, crossing lines. Yeah, I think it seems to be like that. Because I think if the mage was against this, I don't think he'd be, like, calling the mage, like, still respecting him and being like, oh yeah, he called everyone else sheep and I agree. He'd be like, oh, he also sucks. So I think, so guess the mage is not as great as I'd hoped. I thought he was just, like, a cool magic guy who, like, likes learning more than other people, but
nobody can just be a good person in this world.
Sad. So sad.
So then...
But yeah, she hears this and she's like, intrigue is all she gets, and she's like, Kate, bring me his head, because she doesn't think it's actually gonna, like, go anywhere, but she's like, may as well try.
Yeah, so he's like, okay, I need some supplies and money and whatever, and she's like, you'll have it, get the fuck out. Then she has invited her uncle for dinner. This is the important part. Only took us an hour and a half to get here, but...
Okay, no. There's so much in this chapter, I don't blame us. There's a lot going on, okay?
Yeah. So, they have dinner, it's whatever. And then when they're gone, she's like, oh, I know my dad really relied on you. I want to do the same. And he's like, you need a hand. And Jaime refused you. And she's like, well, I was just grieving. That's why I asked him. He's not somebody who could be a hand. And he's like, well, maybe Mace Tyrell would be good. And she's like, nope, I'm not getting the Tyrells into my council. And Kevin's like, you know what? You're right. You'd be a fool to make Tyrell your hand, but a bigger fool to make him your foe.
Dun, dun, dun.
He does lay down some good advice in this chapter, really. And, yeah, so...
Yeah, he's basically like, he probably shouldn't have brought up the, like, Master of Coin stuff. Funeral, but you literally made it worse. Like, that was all you. Like, you embarrassed him in front of everyone. Like, how are you gonna come back from this?
Yeah, and she's defending her choice of Rosby. By the way, that's where, like, Brienne was at his castle that one time where we couldn't remember the name.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. What are we talking about?
Yeah, this is when she's also like, oh, he's rich.
Oh,
he'll
he's
be great.
rich. He'll be fine. Yes.
Yeah.
And this is where she's like, oh yeah, every man needs someone he can trust. Tywin had me, once your mother. And she's like, yeah, he loved her very much. Cersei refused to think about the dead whore in his bed. I know they're together now. Just like pick and
Denial
choose.
is a river in Egypt.
And yeah, so more talking, whatever. Tommen needs you, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you know what? I'll do it. As long as you name me regent as well as hand and take yourself back to Castle Rock.
And she is shook. And so was I. When I tell
Really?
you I did not see this coming, I was like, oh my. Basically, as soon as he said that to the rest of the chapter, I was like engulfing the words. And I was also just like, I don't think my jaw like left the floor the entire time. I was just like, go off, Kevin. Like, this was his breakout moment in my eyes.
Who knew somebody named Kevin would have like such a
such
cool
an
role
interesting
in
arc,
yeah.
right? And like and I felt, and it's also so funny because like right before it was like he's like, dude, like I'm tired, I'm worn out, like I need to help my son, like I haven't seen my wife, like dude, and I was like feeling bad, and I was like, oh, this like poor old man, he's grieving, and then instantly he starts dropping bangers, and it was just out of nowhere, and I was like, go off, like wow.
Yeah. So Cersei's like, I'm the regent. You were. Tywin did not intend that to continue.
Damn.
He told me of his plans to send you back the rock and find a new husband for you. So she's like, I'm not doing that. And he's like, you know what? I won't force you to do it. But you are the lady of the rock now. Your place is there. How dare you? She wanted to scream. Instead, she said, I'm also the queen regent. My place is with my son. And, your father thought not. My father is dead. To my grief and the woe of all the realm, open your eyes and look about you, Cersei. The kingdom is in ruins. Tywin might have been able to set matters all right, but...
Holy shit. Bangers!
Yeah.
Wow.
So Cersei's like, I will do what he couldn't do or didn't do. And he's like, you're not your father. And also, he thought Jaime was his heir. And she's like, Jaime's a fool and blah, blah, blah. And Kevin comes back with, yet he was your first choice to be king's hand. What does that make you, Cersei?
This entire interaction was a mic drop moment, but that was where you like, wow. He could have walked out of there in that moment and it just would have been fine. Like, wow.
I told you I was sick with grief. I did not think. No, Sir Kevin agreed, which is why you should return to Castle Rock and leave the king with those who do.
Yes, Cersei. Precisely why. You don't fucking think.
The king is my son. Cersei rose to her feet. I, her uncle said, and from what I saw of Joffrey, you are as unfit a mother as you are a ruler. Shots fired.
This was crazy. This was what? I literally, when I read that line, I had to close the book and sit there for a second. Like, I genuinely just, like, I couldn't go on. Because it was so
good.
I had to, like, really sit there and think about it. Because I was, like, because the rest, I was like, yes, Kevin. But then when he said that, I felt like I had the same reaction as Cersei, where I was like, oh. So I had to, like, close the book. And then I thought about it for, like, a minute, and I was like, you know what? Painful but valid, and then I kept reading, but it was like I really had to take a moment because it was just so, I was about to say out of pocket, and then I was like, it wasn't out of pocket, it was just so true, you know. Anyway, go off, Kevin. I guess.
Oh my god, these kids have no good parents. Like, literally, their mom sucks, their fake dad sucked, their real dad sucks. Like, they all just suckity suck.
Yeah, their grandfather sucked. Their grandma was probably the only nice person, and she's dead.
We don't know what she was like. Like, to love Tywin?
Oh,
like...
shit. Wait, you're right. Yeah.
But, I don't know. He was a different man back then.
Oh, God.
He could be loved. He grew harsh when he's The love of his life was lost, or blah,
Oh
blah, blah. I
god,
don't know.
calm down. He was still at King Aerys's hand, okay? That means something. Like, and he was the only one who succeeded in that role. Tells you enough. Couldn't have been that nice of a person.
Yeah, so she's like,
and also this hits especially
fuck
different because with Kevin, like, yeah, we know he's grieving, but we know it's all true, and we also know it's all true because, like, he's literally Tywin's like right hand man and everything, so he knows every which way that her and Joffrey messed up. So all of this just like it's like he's right, but he also knows it, and he could, like, right now he could give you an essay on his reasoning, but he doesn't have to because we know. And it's just so nice because it's like everything you want to say to her, and she's finally hearing it.
No, she is being told
okay,
it,
wait,
yes,
she's not hearing it.
Yes,
you're right. Like, someone's finally saying it to her, and you're just like, yes,
yeah,
scream it louder.
Yeah. So she's like, how dare you tell me those things? You're no more than one of my father's household knights. And he's like, you know what? It's true. I don't hold no lands, but I have incomes, and I've set aside some money. And my dad took care of all his kids, and Tywin knew how to reward good service. So I'll be completely fine. In fact, I can be a threat to you. So better watch out.
Ooh.
Are you threatening me? I am counseling you.
Damn, bro.
If you will not yield okay, I'm not even talking about it. I'm just reading this whole chapter because it's so good
though. You just have to.
If you will not yield the regency to me, name me your castellan for Castle Rock and make either Mathis Rowan or Randall Tarley the king, hand of the king. And she's like, oh, Tyrell people, gross. And he's like, no, Rowan is sensible, and Tarley's the finest soldier in the realm. They're a poor hand for peacetime, but with Tywin dead, there's no better man to finish this war, which, I mean, like...
Depends what you mean by finish
Sam.
this war. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like, his dad sucks, and now we might see more of him. Gross.
Yeah, I would cry.
But if you he's like, if you choose either of them, Tyrell can't be mad, and also this will increase their loyalty to you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a win-win for you and them, and like everybody. You know?
All you gotta do is put aside your ego about them being technically like men from the Reach or whatever, you know, or like sworn to Tyrell's. Like, all you gotta do, Cersei, is put aside your ego, and you have the perfect plan.
Yep. Name either one and you make him yours. You strengthen yourself when weak in Highgarden, yet Mace will likely thank you for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my counsel, take it or no. And she's like, in her head, she's thinking, traitor, turncloak.
Oh my god, girl.
You would abandon your king when he needs you most? Tommen has his mother. And his father, too, I think.
Holy shit.
Just drops that in there.
Every single thing this man has said in this chapter is such a banger, man. Especially because, like...
No one said it's Jaime like the way he said to his father, too.
Yes. Yes. Even It's Jaime's can't rival that. Like, this is, like, peak revealing that he knew. Like... I think Kevin has shot up from being a character that I like because of his loyalty and, like, general capability to be... Like, I feel like this one conversation alone is shooting him up.
We are now both Kevin stans.
Yeah, he's going up there. He's going up there. And I'm like... Every single thing he said. It's also so funny because earlier in the chapter... I think right before the Tyrell stuff happens, right before the Lancel stuff happens, because Lancel and Kevin are obviously standing there together, Cersei kind of just says to Kevin, she's like, remember, we have a meeting tonight, and he's like, oh, yes. He kind of like wearily agreed, and he was like, yeah, whatever. And at that point, I kind of was like, oh, man, like, this isn't gonna go well. But little did I know, I thought it was just gonna be like a him being like, could
You
never
should
be
know
Alfana.
anytime there's like a dinner, like shit's about to go down.
Oh shit, I should, right? Oh my god. Yeah, I just like, wow. This was perfect. Both of the endings to these chapters are such bangers.
Yeah. And it also shows us Kevin's like actual personality and capability, whereas so far we've only really seen him as like Tywin's shadow.
Yeah. Because before it was always just like, oh yeah, it's like his brother and he's loyal and like, do you know what I mean? Like you're so right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we never knew that like the reason Tywin had him instead of any other like friend he could have had wasn't just because he was his brother or loyal. It was because it's because his brains, man.
But also, Tywin was probably giving him the teachings that we want him to have given Cersei, you know?
For sure, yeah.
So Kevin grew up under Tywin's wing and learned all the things from him that Cersei should have been able to learn.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but she was denied access to that education, which sucks. Man, I really have been using the word sucks a lot. I need to expand my vocabulary.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the chapter. Let's move on to the next one and then do predictions together because they're like interrelated, right?
Yes. Okay, wait. I
need you to begin this chapter.
Okay, I will. I just had one more thought about like playing the game, I guess. So I feel like over the course of this series, I've gone from being like, wow, these people, so wow, they can play the game, whatever. These Cersei chapters really are just like, she's got like some smarts, and then she just kind of like gets lucky. And that's kind of it.
True.
And it feels like the luck's
like, remember that whole
soon.
John Aaron situation? John Aaron who was about to expose her and just randomly died? And we know she didn't poison him?
Yeah. So
like,
either
you were not taking care of that shit,
exactly.
Girl.
Either someone else did that for her, or, like, you know, either way, it was like, this wasn't you being capable. It's like, every step she gets lucky. She got lucky that Ned was bad at not having empathy.
Ned was generous and came to her to give her a warning before he actually made his move. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, it's just, these people do get lucky. Anyway, yeah.
Well, luck can only take you so far.
Yeah.
So.
The only other thing I had was, so Kevin obviously knows.
Uh-huh.
And I know we've talked about, like, does Tywin know? Did Tywin know? And I think
I don't think Kevin could have said this if Tywin were alive.
That makes sense.
I don't know. That's like a personal opinion for me. I think intellectually Tywin would have to know.
Right.
But, like, to actually know it, like, to accept it and, like, even deep inside really know it, I just think he was doing the Cersei thing. He just wasn't, like, denial to a point where he just, like, it didn't exist in his mind.
Right. Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah. That's so wild. Anyway. Moment of silence for everyone who needs therapy in this series, which is literally all of them.
It's gonna be a lot of moments of silence if we have one for every person.
Please. Okay, wait, 1 second.
Or it's just gonna be a silent podcast.
Please. Oh, that's funny.
Oh.
Okay. So, Jaime. Okay. So, little continuation, still in King's Landing. So, he's vigiling, as I said earlier. He's standing vigil. Basically, day's over. So I guess this is after. So I guess this is like in time, like kind of right after, like it's the night of like everything that we just saw, right? He's standing vigil, and Tyrell, Loras, and Balon Swan are there, and they're like, switch out with us. Like, you can't do this on your own. Like, that's madness. 7 days and 7 nights. Like, bro, come on. And he's like, and he basically hasn't slept in, like, at least a couple days, right?
Yes.
Probably more. Because does the funeral happen, like, the next day? Like, how long would it
I don't know exactly, but
it's been, like, a couple
days.
days. It's been, like, 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to be like, switch out with us, and he's like, nope, I'm not doing it. And he says he's not your father, but instantly he's feeling guilty. He basically is like, I got him killed, so y'all are not switching out with me. And he's like,
yeah, Tyrion may have loosed the crossbow that slew him, but I loosed Tyrion.
Oh, damn, that was a good banger.
Yeah.
And he's just being sad about his sword hand again.
Yeah, well, he's feeling phantom pain, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He says it's almost funny. He had more feeling in the hand he had lost than in the rest of the body that remained to him, because he's just so numb.
Yeah. Oh my god. And his natural reaction, obviously, is, I need to kill someone. And he's like, if that Varys fucker...
As you do.
Exactly. And he's like, if that Varys fucker shows up in front of me, I would...
Yeah.
Right now. And I'm like, man...
Flashback. Sorry, go ahead.
Flashback?
I was just going to say flashback to when he forced Varys to do this.
Literally. A few nights ago, actually. Yeah. So then here he's like... Because before he's like, oh, it was all my fault. And then now he's like, no, fuck Varys. He did it too. And now, yeah, flashback. And he basically showed up in his room. So taking responsibility
for your actions. That's definitely a Lannister trait, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally not being like, oh, well, someone else also had 25% blame. So clearly let's get rid of them for sure. So he was basically he waited in Varys' room. And then as Varys came in, he basically put the knife up to his throat and nicked him a little and scared him into being like, this is what you're gonna do for me. You're gonna help me get my brother out before he gets executed tomorrow, or gets executed. And he's like, okay, but people are gonna
know
ask
that it was me.
They're gonna know it's me. What do I do?
And he's like, you can go crawl in a hole and die. I don't care. Just do this.
Oh my god. He's like, yeah.
That's basically what he says.
That is. And he makes a good point about I literally don't care what you know. Maybe if this was Cersei, she'd want to use you and wouldn't kill you, but you know that I don't care. Which, damn. But also, okay, once again, this family is so impulsive and rash. So after this encounter, Varys could have just gone and told on Jaime.
I guess.
These people don't think anything
But then
through.
it's his word against Jaime's, and who's gonna believe the spider over Jaime Lannister?
I guess, but Cersei would know that.
I guess, but Tywin probably wouldn't want to condemn his son, you know?
I guess, yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
And remember we talked about how Varys might have his own reasons for wanting to free Tyrion?
Yeah.
So
but I think
maybe
Jaime doesn't know that,
gonna do it anyway, but Jaime just helped that along.
That's true, but Jaime wouldn't know that Varys would have done it anyway.
No, that's true.
So either way, Jaime was just being rash.
He's taking a risk for sure.
Yeah, but basically, once again, he's like, I pay my debts, it's okay if he's innocent or guilty.
Yeah, the words had come so easy,
mm-hmm.
which indicates that he believes that Tyrion killed Joffrey, by the way.
Mm-hmm. I think even later, just the way he's thinking about it, it just seems like he believes it, which is so sad, because I'd hoped that he would see through it. But I guess that was just Delulu of me, probably. It made sense that he wouldn't see through it.
It's on theme, it's fine.
Yeah, and these words are echoing in his head the entire chapter, just basically when Tyrion had said that Cersei is lying to you, she fucked Lancel and Osmond and probably other people.
No, and Kettleblack. No, wait. No. It's a very specific line. You're gonna get to know it very well. She's been fucking Lancel and Osmond Kettleblack and probably Moonboy for all I know.
Okay, yes.
You're gonna hear it in this more. Chapter multiple times.
Oh, well, yeah, in this chapter, it's just repeats and repeats. And he just is oh my god, I would have stopped him if I'd known
that he was gonna kill Dad, but then I would have been the Kinslayer, not him.
Another position to the resume. Kinslayer, all of them. And he's like, where the fuck was Varys hiding? He hadn't come back. Nowhere in the Red Keep or in his own rooms was he found. And he's thinking about, like, maybe they, like, disappeared by ship, or, like, what's going on? Yeah. Like, how are we gonna find them?
Because I think he had arranged for Tyrion to be shipped off. So he's like, maybe
he's with him.
Varys also got on that ship and they both took off.
Yeah. And then he thinks about, oh, well, maybe Tyrion just killed Varys, and that's why he hasn't shown up.
It's not like anybody's gonna find his corpse in that maze of tunnels.
Yeah, literally. And he'd gotten, like, a dozen guards to go down there and, like, go, and they'd gone through, like, a bunch of the passageways and, like, gone through, like, the connecting spaces and stuff, and basically hadn't found much logically, because how do you find stuff down there?
Yeah, but he remembers seeing the dragon mosaic in the floor, and then he, like, flashes back to Rhaegar Targaryen.
Yeah. And
he remembers that the last day he saw Rhaegar, he was, like, riding off to fight in the Battle of the Trident, and Jaime wanted to join him, but Rhaegar was like, my dad wants to keep you close because he fears Tywin. And Jaime was like, but I'm a man of the King's Guard. And John Derry was like, then guard the king.
Holy shit.
And then Rhaegar says something to Jaime. When this battle's done, I mean to call a council. Changes will be made. I meant to do it long ago, but, well, it does no good to speak of roads not taken. We shall talk when I return.
Whoomst?
Thoughts?
What? Okay. This was a weird bomb to drop, but the only...
I don't know how much to tell you, because...
Okay, all I could think of, I just assumed... Okay, I just... With the context I have, all I could assume, I think, was just, like, maybe he was gonna, like, dismiss Jaime or something. Because especially the way he's, like, telling Jaime specifically, and he's like, hey, like, I just figured it would be, like, him realizing that, like, Jaime being here is just, like, this weird, like, revenge ploy on Tywin. So maybe he was like, hey, we shouldn't have this, like, powerful man against us or something. Or maybe it's also just because, we've heard, like, other things about Rhaegar, about, like, I don't know, he's, like, a musician, and he was, like, supposed to be, like, different than other rulers and stuff, right? So maybe, like, he wanted to, it's just, like, when people are on their deathbed and they're reflecting on their life and they're like, fuck, I should have made those changes. So maybe this was just him going into this battle and thinking about, like, how he should have, like, maybe stood up to his dad or done things better. So I think it could be either way. Like, maybe it's just him thinking about how he should have done things better and, like, actively been a better ruler in that way, and now he might die or, like, something.
Right.
Like, this is an important battle. Or I was thinking maybe it is specific Jaime and he was gonna, like, get rid of Jaime or, like, make changes to how the King's Guard works or something. I don't know. Those were my thoughts.
Right. Okay, let me gather mine for a second. Okay, I am forgetting a part of this theory. Like, there's something, like, missing in my brain. So we'll just, like, mention the missing part and then be like, somebody fill in the blank.
Okay.
The theory is that Rhaegar saw that his father was an ill-fit ruler and was going to call a great council of the Lords of Westeros to dethrone his father and then replace himself as the king.
Oh, okay. So basically just, like...
And then there's something to do with how Aerys maybe got wind of this and became paranoid and jealous of his son and took some actions. It's the actions part that I'm missing. Like, I don't remember what the theory was that, like, what he did in retribution.
Holy shit. Okay. I was, like, 10% right.
You were, like, with the, like, should have stood up to his dad thing. You were there.
Okay,
but also, theories. It may be wrong. Who knows?
Okay, slay. Oh my god. Okay, wait, I'm just writing this all down now.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't think we've heard about Mad King's actions enough, so I'm just gonna say, like,
there was actions, and then we'll find out.
Yeah, potentially.
Okay,
you know?
Cool. Sounds good. I also just had one more thought, like, right before, when he's talking about, like, them searching, like, the shafts and, like, passageways and shit. So do you remember how, like, we were talking about, like, how, like, Varys was always like, oh, there's things too dark for the human mind to see, or, like, whatever?
Right.
Like, you know?
Yes, I remember that, but what are you saying about it?
Okay, I'm getting there. So you know how that happened? So Jaime doesn't mention any of that? So I'm assuming if it was just the theory you mentioned about, like, he just didn't want Tyrion to know that he uses, like, little kids and shit, and, like, their bones would be there. But also, Jaime doesn't mention that either. So, I don't know, I guess I'm just, like...
we don't know that Jaime was down there.
No, but, like, Jaime's people were down there, so he would have gotten reports of something, right?
What? No. What? No. They went down the tunnels, but I'm not sure they found where all the tunnels went.
But wouldn't, like... Even where they went,
I think Jaime explicitly states that there's so many tunnels and shit, they could not explore them all.
Right, so they just kind of... Okay.
So I don't know if anybody knows what's in that chamber.
Okay, cool.
Or in that tunnel.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so those were Rhaegar's last words that he ever spoke to him.
Damn.
And then he went and died in the Battle of the Trident.
Lovely.
Went and got himself killed, because that's the kind of language we're using in these chapters.
And he's like, yeah, when the battle was done, there were changes made. He was more right than he knew.
Mm-hmm. So he's looking at his dad's corpse, and he's like, I'm not really sad. But also, I'm not really angry. I'd never lacked for rage. And, yeah, he's just, like, watching people come and go and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He notices that Grand Maester Pycelle seems the most distraught of any.
Oh my god.
I served 6 kings, but here before us lies the greatest man I ever knew.
Mm-hmm.
6 kings? Man, that's a lot of fucking kings.
This man is old. Or maybe there was just a lot of king turnover, right?
So let's count the kings. Tommen, Joffrey, Robert, Aerys. I think the one before him was a Jaehaerys.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was I think, did he serve Aegon the Fifth? Egg?
Maybe.
Hang on. There'd be too many Targaryens, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he served Aegon the Fifth.
Oh my god.
So Egg, Jaehaerys, Aerys, Robert, Joffrey, Tommen.
Wow. Mans is old.
That's cool.
Damn.
Yeah, he's real old. To think that Egg is, like, long, lost, gone, you know? Like,
yeah.
Thought of the past, but, like, this guy is still around.
Yeah.
And that's, like, what's his name? Frey's still around? Like...
yeah, oh my god. That's crazy.
Yeah. But, like, cool. I think we, in the past, have, like, wondered at Pycelle's motives and kind of come to the conclusion that he's just a real Lannister lover, but, like...
Yeah.
Like, it's even more evident now.
Yeah, he's just a Tywin lover. Almost, like... I almost felt for him for the first time in my life. Like, he really loved Tywin. Mm-hmm. And he, like, was fully behind him. Wow.
Yeah. He called Joffrey the noblest child that ever lived or something.
That's so funny.
At his trial.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, and, like, so Jaime's assessing his appearance, and he's like, man, shaving that beard was the cruelest thing Tyrion could have done.
Yeah.
Shaving him was the cruelest thing Tyrion could have done, thought Jaime, who knew what it was to lose a part of yourself, the part that made you who you were.
Ouch.
And apparently Pycelle's beard had been magnificent, but now it's just sad.
Damn.
He's talking about, then he's, like, talking about Old Town when he was studying there and how there was the plague, so Hightower had to enforce a quarantine and people hated him for it. And the day the port opened, they all killed him. But he saved the city. He did what needed to be done, which is what Tywin did. So yay, whatever. And
honestly,
also,
but rather than
what was the name of this high tower again? It was kind of weird. Quentin Hightower.
Yeah. The only other thing is, though, to me, this, I do understand where he's coming from. Like, he did what needed to be done. He wasn't, like, the most well-loved. But, like, thing is, he was pretty respected. To me, this isn't, like, a Tywin parallel. This is a Tyrion parallel. Because he also did...
I agree, actually. Because I was going to say... I agree with this Quentin guy's actions. I do not agree with Tywin's actions.
Yeah, it's giving more Tyrion parallel, because it's like, he objectively did the right thing, but people just didn't like doing it, or like in Tyrion's case, they just didn't like him and blamed him for it, but I guess also just probably didn't like doing it, because he made them, like, work on the chain day, and that he made them do things. So I think it's just like, yeah, I just don't see the type. It's like Pycelle, you should have been on Tyrion's side if this is what you're idolizing. Like,
yes. Astute observation. Okay. Man, can I just say, I feel like I've been so tired these last few weeks that every time we sit down to, like, record, I'm like, I don't think I'm contributing anything at all. I have no thoughts.
Disagree, but okay. It's probably just you're not realizing it because you're foggy-minded, so you say it and then forget it instantly. Like, you're like me 90% of the time.
You know what? That's a very kind way of looking at it, and I'll accept that explanation. But, like, yeah, I feel like a poser sometimes these days. We need to, like, find a new time to record or something.
Okay, cool.
Okay, interlude over.
Oh my god.
Who is he? Oh, he's still talking to Pycelle. Oh my god, I forgot how long this conversation was. Oh, okay, I think he leaves, but Cersei, he remembers that Cersei calls him useless, and he's like, but Cersei thinks everybody's useless. The Kingsguard, the Tyrells, me, Cersei Payne.
I love his Cersei anger. I know he's hurting, but I do love his Cersei pettiness in this chapter.
Yeah, Cersei blames Cersei Payne because he, as, like, King's Justice, he's charged with the dungeons, and that's where Tyrion escaped, so he's responsible. And Jaime's like, but it was me, not him.
Oh my god.
And then we go to a flashback to him interrogating Yennefer Longwaters, the chief underjailer of King's Landing cells and whatever. And apparently this guy believes he's descended from a Targaryen. There's a whole history. Look it up on the Wiki of Ice and Fire if anybody wants to read it.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh yeah, there was that guy. He just came and did what he wanted, but, like, we were all scared of him. He was here before we got here. Like, what do you want from me? And I'm an honest man. I keep track of all my things, and these are all the people that are under me, and this is who's here. And Jaime's like, oh my god, there's 6 prisoners in this place, and we're paying wages for 20 turnkeys, 6 underjailers, a chief underjailer, a jailer, and a King's Justice.
Jaime for Master of Coin?
Yeah, just like bureaucracy at its finest, you know?
Literally, yeah.
And he's like, okay, well, let me go question those turnkeys who were responsible for Tyrion's cell. Meanwhile, he's remembering that he told Varys to not kill anybody, so Varys probably just, like, put them to sleep. And then this underjailer guy's like, oh yeah, they dead. I thought you told them to be dead because it was your Knights Kingsguard that killed them.
Yeah.
And Jaime's like, oh, fuck that. Cersei's been getting my people to do her work. And later, then we go to, oh my god, there's so many, like, flashbacks / forwards.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Then it flashes to, now he's talking to Boris Blunt and Osmond Kettleblack, who were responsible for killing those people, and he's like, The fuck were y'all doing?
Mm-hmm.
The next time my sister tells you to go kill somebody, come to me first.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, stay out of my sight.
Mm-hmm. So true.
Did I summarize that adequately?
I think so, yeah. It's just, it's so interesting because he's angry at their actions, but really it's not that. It's just
he's angry at.
Just the whole Cersei shit. But with the Cersei shit, it's also interesting because he, like, he can't, like, it would be so hard for him to confront her without giving himself away. But also, couldn't he just, like, be like, oh, I found out from whispers, but then Cersei could just deny it. But also, she could just deny it even if he told her that he found out from Tyrion. She could say, well, Tyrion hates me. So I guess she can deny it no matter what. So yeah, so if she can deny it no matter what, then there's no, other than obviously, like, the honesty and, like, healthy, loving relationship and probably tell your sister that you got your father killed. But beyond, like, the logistics, I feel like there's no reason to tell her how. Like, he can confront her without telling her how he found out. I know it would be hard to, like, do that emotionally, but, like, technically he can.
Yeah, but the thing is, he blames himself too much to, like, even go to Cersei and, like, be...
Yeah, no, you're right. There's too many emotions caught up in it, obviously, but still.
So he's hanging out, still vigiling, and it's stinking even more.
Mm-hmm.
And he's noticing all the crows circling the sept.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, how much can a crown be worth when a crow can dine upon the king?
Ooh, this was a really good line.
Yeah.
Especially fitting for the book and just vibes. Slay.
Yeah. And he's like, well, every crow in the Seven Kingdoms should pay homage to you, father. For Castamere to the Blackwater, you fed them well.
So true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then he, like, just laughs because it's so... He notices his father, like, grinning. Like, you know...
Because it keeps getting worse. The decay.
Exactly. And then it's so grotesque. It makes him laugh. And then the laugh, like, echoes back at him as if the dead interred within the walls were laughing too.
Oh,
and he's like,
God.
Why not? What's more absurd than a mummer's farce, me standing vigil for her father I helped to slay, sending men forth to capture the brother I helped to flee.
Holy shit. Damn, Jaime. Hey, this is reaching, like, John levels of self-pity.
Okay, see, this is why I give Jaime slack, is that he at least knows his shit. He may not, act on his bullshit, but he knows his bullshit.
Yeah. No, I think I agree. Yeah, it's like... Because it's such an easy comparison to make between them. So it's like you just constantly find yourself looking at them back and forth and being like, okay, well, lesser of two evils. Like, yeah. Ground.
Oh, he's thinking back to his first vigil and also about, like, how he's always, like, been all about the warrior, whereas other men might be fathers, sons, and husbands, but Jaime was always the warrior. And now, not even that.
This is so depressing. Oh my god. Yeah.
This is what happens when you, like, tie your entire identity to one fact of your life, you know?
Yeah. I know, but he was so bloody
Diversify,
good.
people.
I know, but he was so
Same
bloody
as
good.
investments. You want to spread it all around.
I know, but it's hard. It's like, think of, like, being an Olympian. Like, you retire, when you're, like, 28, 29, and, like, obviously you're not gonna just retire and not do anything for the next 30, 40, 50 years, right? Like, so, like, imagine making, like, a life transit. Like, that's kind of what Jaime's going through, you know? It's like he excelled so deeply at this thing, and now he has to completely change his entire life, and it's like, it just feels like there's not that many options, you know? And it's
yeah.
I feel bad, man. And he's thinking about Brienne, because I'm assuming the logical change here is, like, he's thinking about his promises and, like, fucking shit up, so now it's like, Okay, hopefully that promise doesn't get fucked up. I hope she's able to complete what she's supposed to.
But he does call her an ugly wench.
Yeah.
In his mind. Then people come in praying and stuff, whatever. Oh yeah, okay. This is where he's remembering his last vigil when he was knighted at age 15. And just like the whole situation. Yeah, a boy knelt, a knight rose, the young lion, not the kingslayer.
But that was long ago, and the boy was dead. Oh my god.
Yeah,
man.
and then he's like, oh my god, I am so fucking tired. I should have let Loras take my place, and Cersei would have hated that, but like, you know?
Yeah.
He had it. Loras is half a boy, arrogant and vain, but he had it in him to be great, to perform deeds worthy of the White Book.
This man dwells on the book so much. Now he's thinking about the book, and he's like...
Yeah, I gotta write something about myself, but I can't fill it with lies. I'll rather tear it to pieces.
Yeah.
Because it's my sacred book or whatever, but but what if I can't, like, what kind of truth can I tell it?
Pushed a kid out a window.
Just started fighting the Ned Stark in the street for no reason.
Yeah.
Started a war, like... Well, not no reason, but, like, Tyrion had been kidnapped, but, like, he went after Ned, and, like...
It didn't make sense, yeah. Yeah, did a lot of shit.
A lot of shit, indeed. Okay, so then it flashes to a woman stood before him. Cersei's there, dressed as, like, a servant. And, apparently she's done this before.
Okay, wait, question though. So her, like, opening line is like he's like, Cersei, what hour is it? And she's like, the hour of the wolf. The drowned wolf, perhaps? Am I supposed to know what this means?
Because they measure hours by, like, this is the hour of the owl or the wolf or the lion. Like, I don't actually know that those are it, but, like, it's along those lines.
Oh, I thought this was, like, a weird...
Like, hour of the wolf is, like, sometime at night. I don't know.
I was confused. I was like, what does this have to do with the Starks? They have literally zero involvement.
No,
what is this shading?
This is one time it doesn't have anything to do with Starks.
Lovely. Okay, thank you.
Unless it's, of course, Catelyn, the drowned wolf.
Oh shit, but fish. I don't think so though. That was
I know.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time I came to you like this? It was some dismal inn over Weasel Alley, and I pull on the servant's guard to get past father's guards. And immediately he's like, "Oh, she wants something from me," because that's the only time she comes to me is when she wants something from me.
Oh.
For a moment, he dared to hope that all she wanted was the comfort of his arms.
Ouch, man. Oh.
Yeah. But she's there to ask him to be hand because Kevin has refused her. And he's like, he refused? And, like, yeah. And she's like, oh, yeah, he also knows about us. And Tyrion knows. And, like, who knows who else he told. Maybe the High Septon, like, he's the one that Tyrion put in place and all that.
Yeah.
So you gotta be Tommen's hand. And she tries a few different tactics, like emotional blackmail.
Yeah.
There's, like,
fear,
threatening. Yeah, just, like...
Everything under the sun.
Yeah, it doesn't...
Yeah, and then the last one is basically
he's like, you were Robert's queen, and yet you won't be mine. And Cersei's like, like, this is where Jaime's Delulu.
Yeah.
Like, who's gonna let you fucking live?
Literally, yeah. I just wrote both equals unreasonable, and that's why they get along, I guess.
And then, okay, so fucking Cersei... So Cersei's like, oh, I want you now. And she's like, let's get it on right now. And Jaime's, like, thing is like, oh no, not here in front of the gods and father. And what about the time you forced her to have sex with you
in front of the gods and her dead son
and her son's corpse? Like, you know?
Yeah. Very, very double standard for sure.
Jaime, you make it so hard to love you sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think, okay, remember when we talked about that chapter and I kind of basically said to you that George R. R. Martin doesn't see this as the problem it is and is not going to acknowledge it as that?
Yeah.
So this is probably just George R. R. Martin being like, oh yeah, like he totally forgot about that other circumstance and is just like now continuing on with this, which is such a disservice to the character and the story, and just, let him deal with his shit and his consequences of what he's done, you know?
Yeah, totally.
But okay, my brain's too tired for this. Oh god.
No, you're right. It's just like, yeah. Once again, I don't know what to add. It's right. Yeah, true.
Yeah, so he, like, you know, I'm not meant for a council chamber, maybe not even that. And so she's like, fine, fuck off. If it's battlefields you want, that's battlefields I should give you. I was a fool to come, and I was a fool ever to love you. She storms away, and Jaime just, like, hangs out more. It's dawn. Oh my god, there's so much of this chapter left. What the hell? Talk for a little while.
Okay. So yeah, next day, and there was a mention earlier about like, oh, there will be nice rainbows when the rain finally stops, and now there's rainbows. So yay, full circle from Cersei's chapter. So there's rainbows, and the basically, it's getting worse. Like even worse rotting, even worse smell, terrible. There's like pooling of liquid. It's disgusting. Then the Septons come in. They're doing their devotions. They're also wrinkling their nose. Kate, I have a question though. So they describe it as like these people are like wrinkling their nose and like one of them almost faints, like he has to excuse himself because he almost fainted. Aren't they used to this, or is it just like this unique situation of like it's not just rot, it's like possibly poison? And
I think that shit. And also I don't know how often it is that people are like kept in the Great Sept of Baelor. It's only like the really major people, you know?
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay,
but
cool.
Maybe more proof that it's poison.
Right. Okay.
And also proof that maybe this kid is like new to the gig, you know? I don't know.
Right. That makes sense. Okay. So then Tyrells show up, and then Marjorie had brought like a bouquet, but she obviously puts them like in front of Tywin as like a little offering thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But she kept one, and she kept it by her nose, and Jaime's like, damn, she's clever. She's as clever as she is pretty. And then he says, Tommen could do a deal worse for a queen. Others have. And I was like, is this Cersei shade? I was like, what? Is it? Do we think this is Cersei shade?
I don't know.
No, you have to have an opinion.
I guess. I'm trying to think of like what other queens he's
found.
I guess like Aerys's queen.
We've
but,
never
like,
really heard about her.
About her. Like Daenerys' mom.
We don't know about her being like a bad person.
So I guess like the conclusion is that
real,
it is Cersei.
He's just real Cersei shade. Yeah, he's like, damn. Anyway, yeah, he's basically in his feelings. And then Cersei walks in with Tommen, and Osmond's kind of beside them. Like, he's like kind of their personal guard in this moment. And once again, the quote flashback, and he's getting mad. He's thinking about how he'd seen Osmond naked, and he's like, just like, wow, he has so much hair. And he's like imagining them fucking, and he's like, no, this is impossible. Denial. Tyrion must have been lying, basically.
Yeah, he's lying about this, but not about killing Joffrey.
Exactly.
That's obvious.
Exactly. Yeah. And then Cersei, yeah, this family's so delusional. It's like you want to believe the killing Joffrey because he killed Tywin, but you can't believe, like, come on, homie. Anyway, so then Cersei goes up. Cersei and Tommen are supposed to like go like pray and like be by Tywin, basically, I guess. But then Tommen is having a really hard time with this. Cersei's like, dude, you gotta pray. But he just, like, literally
starts sobbing first. And
Yeah.
Cersei tells him to stop that. And then he doubles over and
pukes.
vomits, which...
And then his crown falls off. And he just basically runs away.
Yeah, he's 8 years old.
Yeah, come on. What did you expect? Come on, Jaime. Or come on, Cersei.
Yeah.
And then...
So Jaime rushes after him in his only fatherly moment ever.
Basically, yeah. And then Tommen, like, he finds him in the Hall of Lamps, and Tommen's, like, apologizing, and he's like, I'm sorry, I'll do better tomorrow, but I got really sick, and I just was like, Tommen, it's okay.
The smell's only gonna get worse tomorrow, kid.
Okay, he doesn't...
Borrow a rose from Marjorie.
He doesn't know that, come on.
I know, I'm just...
I know, you're right. I know,
snarky.
you're making a joke, it's okay. And then Jaime's like, okay, he's basically like, okay, there's too many people around here, so he takes him outside. And then Tommen's basically talking about, he's like, it's not that I was scared, it's just like, it was a gag reflex, like, just, come on, like, you know? And then he's like, how did you handle it, Uncle? I love how he says, Uncle Sir. And it's like, dude, you're the king, I'm pretty sure you can call him, like, Jaime, but he's Tommen, so he didn't. And then he's like, in his head, he's like, dude, I've smelled my own hand rotting. I have, I've smelled a man toasting as King Aerys cooked him. So this was like Ned's dad and them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he's like, dude, that's what he's thinking about. But he says out loud, a man can bear most anything if he must. The world is full of horrors, Tommen.
Wait, no, hang on. A man can bear almost anything if he must, Jaime told his son.
Yes.
Which is the first time we've, like, he's ever taken ownership of that fact,
yeah.
You know?
True, yeah. The world is full of...
No, the world is full of horrors.
Horrors, Tommen. You can fight them, laugh at them, or look without seeing. Go away inside. And then Tommen considered that, and he's like, I used to go away inside sometimes, he confessed, when Joffrey... ... Do I want to know?
Well, we know already the kind of shit he pulled, so, like...
Yeah,
But maybe there's more, but honestly, I'm just gonna, like, close the brackets there and move on, because...
He done sucked.
This poor kid, he has horrible parents, even though he had 3 of them, and a horrible sibling. It's just like, and Marcella, who was probably the only nice one, got sent away. So, like, just nobody in his corner.
This sucks, man. I almost wish that Tyrion had succeeded at getting him away.
Right?
You know?
Yeah, like, somebody kidnap him and
he
just,
could have
like,
just lived a normal life.
Make him live a normal childhood.
Yeah. But to be honest, like, being normal here also isn't great right now. Maybe just, like, a lord who's, like, chillin', you know?
Like, take him to, like, Lease or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Wherever that kid, what's his face? That Davos smuggled away?
Oh, yeah, wherever he went.
Edric Storm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take him just wherever he went.
They're, like, the same age-ish.
Yeah.
Like, let him hang out.
No, literally, I agree. And then, basically, at this point,
Cersei comes over. Joffrey, she corrects. And your brother's name was Joffrey. He would never have shamed me so. Like, dude, your kid
up.
just...
Shut the fuck up, Cersei. Nobody fucking asked you to speak. Like, come on.
And this poor kid's so frightened, and, like, Jaime's like, okay, shut, Cersei, enough. And Cersei's like, oh, yeah, why are you here? Aren't you standing vigil? 7 nights, you said? Surely you know how to count. Take the number of your fingers, then add 2. What? These people are... They're supposed... Sorry.
Yeah.
Not only are they siblings and twins, they love each other so much that they're having, like, an incestuous relationship. But this is how they interact with each other. You're supposed to be, like, your ride or die. Like, what the hell, people? Like, on both of their parts, honestly. Like,
yeah.
So, like, Tywin may have like been a great mind or whatever, but he really sucked at this parenting and passing on his legacy thing. Because like, what the fuck?
Yeah, literally. Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah, basically,
Okay.
and then at this point, Jaime's like, "Okay, Cersei, shh, Tyrell's coming on over here, okay?" And then Tyrell kind of bows, and he's just like, he basically, he's like, "Oh yeah, like, Tommen's not doing okay, oh my God." And then Cersei's like, "Oh, grief." And then he's like, "Yeah, we are all feeling grief." And I loved this. Then it says, "High above, a crow screamed loudly. He was perched on the statue of King Baelor, shitting on his holy head." And it was the most perfect thing to describe a situation that's happening I've ever read. Like, it was just so perfect. I was like, man.
Also further outlining that the crows are the real kings in this world and everybody else is just there to feed them.
No, literally, yeah.
Feed them and then be shit upon.
So true. And then Jaime just basically is like, "Oh yeah, there's a lot you can do. Why don't you dine with Her Grace tonight?"
Yeah, also, okay, I didn't like it that Jaime was speaking for her. Like, somebody needed to, but I didn't like it still.
Okay, I did, because I was like, this girl ain't gonna do anything on her own.
Okay, I agree with that, but I think, like, as just, like, a principle thing, anytime a man speaks for a woman, I'm like,
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but I think in this case...
I agree with you. I'm just saying that I feel both ways about it.
You have a good point, and I think if this had happened any time before now, I wouldn't have, but I think we've just had
But it did happen. Remember when he apologized for Cersei slapping him, and he was like, "Oh, my sister's just emotional."
Oh yeah, that was shitty. But I just mean, like, those instances, I was like, "Hey, yes, Jaime's, like, this is a bad thing you're doing," but I'm just saying, like, specifically here... Just because, like, these 2 chapters have just basically been hammering home Cersei is not great at this. So I think getting this at the end of just having had that, I don't feel a need to defend her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do understand what you're saying, though.
Yeah. So
but he's like, "Why don't you do that?" And Tyrell's kind of confused, but he's like, "Yeah, of course. I've been literally waiting to do this," basically. And then...
The queen forced a smile and made pleasant noises. Which...
But then she turns on him angrily as soon as everyone else goes, and he's like, "Are you drunk or dreaming, sir?" She's like, "Pray, why am I having supper with that grasping fool and his puerile wife?" Cersei is just, I can't. She's so funny for no reason. And I hate it. Anyway, she's like, "Dude, like, I'm not naming him Hand if that's what you're trying to go for." And he's like, "No, you need Tyrell, but you don't want him here at King's Landing. Get him to capture Storm's End for Tommen, and tell him you need him in the field to replace, like, the warriorness of Father, because he thinks he's, like, this whole warrior. So either he's gonna succeed, and now you have Storm's End, or he's gonna mess it up, and it makes him look bad. Come on." I have a question.
Yeah.
So Storm's End, last we saw, Renly's Peach was defeated by Stannis' shadow.
Yeah. Stannis' people live here, like, have control over Storm's End.
Okay, but okay, wait, so he won the people who were there at Storm's End, right?
Some of them, not all of them.
Okay, so I'm just wondering...
Like, Loras returned with a bunch of the people from the Reach.
Okay, so I guess the people who are there currently are, like, technically supposed to be loyal to Stannis.
I think in the castle is probably just, like, a bare-bones garrison. And everybody else Stannis took down to the Blackwater to fight with him, He needed every soldier he could get.
Okay, cool. Because I'm just wondering... how willing are these people? Like, where are these people's loyalties gonna lie? I'm just trying to think about that.
Right. I mean, they're Stannis' people, as far as we know.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Sounds good. And then, okay, so, and Cersei kind of thinks about it, and she's like, "Okay, that's a good idea, but, like, I'm not gonna be able to get him to leave until, like, Marjorie and Tommen get married. And then Jaime's like, okay, then, like, let them marry. Like, he's still a kid. He's not going to be able to consummate the marriage. And until he does, we can always just, like, it's not a legitimate marriage until, like, wedding or marriage until that happens. And then she's kind of like, oh, yeah. And she's like, even sages have their dangers. Why? Our Lord of Highgarden might even lose his life in such a venture.
Yeah, like, Jaime's given her this whole plan about, like, all the other benefits with all the, but she's like, oh my god, this could kill him. Exactly. This is great.
Literally. It's like she just latches on. Yeah.
What does it say? A wary smile crept across his sister's face. Like, what?
Oh my god. Yeah. And then he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, that could happen too. Especially if his patience runs thin this time and he elects to storm the gate. Cersei gave him a lingering look. You know, she said, for a moment, you sounded quite like father. Which is honestly more insult than compliment, but coming from her, it's a, like, high compliment. But to me, as an outsider, was just like, okay, but do we want him to? This was an interesting...
I honestly don't know if that really sounded like Tywin, if I'm being honest. I was like, what about it really sounds like Tywin?
You know, I think this is just like, wow, I admire father, you being smart, you're being smart, like, slay. Like, it's just, like, you're doing, like, having a good idea. I don't know.
Sure.
Jaime, I don't know, this was just giving Jaime being, like, the smart kid in the class who doesn't study. Like, this is like, this is giving that. He's like, just do this. I'm like, how long have you been sitting on that idea? Did you just come up with it? Is this improv? Like, as Tyrell comes up, like, did he come up with it? Like, I want to know.
Because we also, like, despite being in his head, don't, like, see the origins of this.
So, did he come up with it on the spot? I don't know.
So that's the end of that chapter.
So good.
I only have 2 questions for... I guess I have 3.
Okay.
I probably have more, but I can only remember 3.
Please.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the one that I'm gonna forget the soonest. Qyburn has the mountain's, like, body corpse, not quite corpse thing. What is he gonna be able to heal him? Like, what's he gonna do with that?
Dark magic spells.
And Mountain is healed?
I don't know if Mountain would be... Maybe, like... Because it's, like, spells and stuff, right? So you never really know. I feel like maybe, honestly, unfortunately, he might just succeed at making a worse version of the Mountain. That's, like, even less human.
Yikes.
So, I just don't see this going well. Like, I just feel like it turns into this whole... Mountain basically becomes this, like, killer warrior, even worse than he is, you know?
Okay.
Like, I don't know, maybe his powers get stronger. Who's to say
you couldn't have been like, oh, it's gonna reverse his personality and he's gonna be the best person ever.
What do you think this is? Like, freaking strawberry shortcake? Like, no. This is A Song of Ice and Fire.
Okay. All right. Oh, I thought of another question. Lawless's kid. What are they going to name him, if not Tywin?
I don't know. Lawless?
Or are they just going to go ahead and name him?
I don't think they can.
Tywin.
Maybe, like, Robert?
Oh, yeah. And that'll annoy Cersei, too.
Yeah.
I love it. This kid here is named John Aaron Rosby, or like
John Aaron Rosby, Ned Stark Robb.
I named you after the 2 bravest men.
Oh god, I love that meme. The way every media is just fucking recycling. The way media is better at recycling than we are is so sad. Like, come on, we need to take a page out of their book.
Okay. that was my, like, throwaway question, but
I love it.
Oh, rethink what the other... Oh, is she going to name Rowan or Tarly as her hand?
I would love if she did, but I just don't see that logic happening. I don't see it clicking.
So no. Okay.
I think she'll end up...
Ish.
I think she'll just find someone who's gonna obey her. Maybe she'll name, like, another Lannister cousin or something to, like, keep it in the family or, like, something. Sorry, that sounds bad.
The family has a whole new meaning when it comes to Cersei.
You know what? Honestly, she might do that, too, if this whole Jaime breakup does happen. So she might keep it in the family in multiple ways.
So Lancel was Jaime 2.0, and this is going to be like
Jaime 3.0.
Lancel 2.0 / Jaime's 3.0.
Literally, yeah. I buy it.
Yikes.
I see it happening.
Okay, so is she going to send Tyrell on this mission?
Yes.
Cool.
But I
so
do
he's
think...
going to be out of her hair.
I think... Okay, but I worry that something else will go wrong before she's able... Like, he'll agree, because what's he gonna say? No. I think he'll agree, but, like, maybe something else happens before he's able to go, and then he's like, no, I have to stay. So I don't know if he'll actually be sent, but I think the plans will be arranged.
Well, it also hinges... I don't know why, but those words make the same sense in my head. It also hinges on Tommen and Marjorie getting married, so are they going to get married?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
The only other thing...
I think that's all I got.
I did just want to... Speaking of Tom and Marjorie marriage, I did just want to say, like... So, okay. I guess I'm just thinking about, like, Marjorie and her grandma, and, like, if they're up to any tricks. We got that one interaction of them interacting with Tommen, and I thought it was just, like, normal. The only thing that could have been, like, a little weird was, like, Tommen comes back to Cersei and he's like, Marjorie said when we get married we can go to Highgarden. And I'm assuming that was just like a, hey, get your mom to get us married quicker, and then, see, you can totally... Because if he confides and he's like... Because, you know, he's like an impressionable young kid, so if he was like, you know, this king stuff is hard, or if they asked about him and they're like, oh, you know how basically what they did with Sansa, like, hey, we can get you to escape, just, like, trust us. So maybe it's just like, I'd assume it's just like a, let's get married even quicker, and then you can escape from your duties, definitely. So maybe just that, but I guess I'm just keeping an eye on them.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. Next chapters?
Let's do it. Wait, just give me 1 second. I might have had another thing to say. I don't think so, but let me confirm. Okay, one more thing was just, okay, when we were talking about the Littlefinger thing, when she was like, oh, maybe I'll appoint Littlefinger back, she says, like, he won't be allowed to remain Lord Protector of the Vale for very long. The Vale Lords were already stirring. If what Pycelle said was true, once they take that boy away from him, he'll come crawling back. So I guess, is this new information? Because we didn't know.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I totally forgot about that. But yes, it seems, because the last time we left, events were quite dramatic.
Like, we didn't know what the fault was.
So what do you think about this?
This is crazy. I think Littlefinger is so wretched that he's going to find a way to make it through anyway. Like, it'll either, like, I don't know, like, I think also because he can just manipulate Robert Arryn. And as long as he has him under his wing, it's fine. He can just be like, see, I married your mom. She trusted me. I'll play with you. Find you another... Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know, and, like, then that means Sansa has to keep dealing with it. So, that's just what I think. But what do I know? But yeah, I'm just interested to see how that develops. Was basically my point. But yeah, let's do next chapters.
Okay. We're reading 2 chapters next time. Give me your hopes and predictions.
I would like to see Dany, and I would like to see I want to see someone new from Old Town.
Okay, you're really, like, into Old Town.
I know we're going to Old Town, so we probably won't get someone, but I just really need to see, like, what happened, like, their security leak or whatever's going on. Like, I gotta know.
All right. Well, we're reading 2 chapters, chapter 9 and 10. Chapter 9 is Brienne.
I forgot that we had Brienne chapters now. Slay. I think... Okay, wait, so she was gonna... Oh, she left the people in the inn after, like, paying for them or whatever, right? And where was she going again? To Rosby or to...
Maidenpool?
Duskendale. Oh, Yeah, okay.
Maybe Maidenpool. Okay, one of those.
She was just because she was just going to continue her checking, and I guess what we'd gotten from her last chapter was like other people are also on the hunt and stuff, and we know that she's going the wrong way. So maybe she'll just meet some more people. Maybe she gets some leads. Maybe she learns. Maybe she hears about others. I just don't know what to predict because I just don't know what could happen. So maybe just like she's searching and maybe she encounters bad people because that's what happens to all these characters when they're traveling, basically. That's all I got for you. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Chapter 10 is Sansa.
Okay. We're gonna get the...
I totally thought you were gonna predict her because we were just talking about Littlefinger.
Oh, no, that... Bro, thoughts leave my head as soon as I say them. It's like... Sansa. I think Sansa... Okay, so obviously we're gonna get the, like, repercussions. And I think just what I said about Littlefinger going on. So I just think... The only thing that's changed in my predictions for her from last time is she's gonna have to deal with Littlefinger even more, especially if he's not immediately required to go back. She'll probably just be seeing how he's dealing with his people and trying to get them on his side and stuff. And I think this will be my... You know what? Here's what I think. This will be my... Because you know how last chapter was also a really, like, a revelation for us for seeing how much Littlefinger's success was just Lysa as well. So it also, because before it almost just seemed like he was like, he landed a job and then he was like smart and cunning and made it through. But now there's this like, because you know, last chapter I was questioning.
Yeah, not so much the American dream.
Exactly. Like before I was questioning Cersei's abilities, and now I'm like kind of like now I'm kind of just thinking like this, I think these chapters are going to be the deciding factor of, is he also capable? Like, yeah, he succeeded through Lysa, but then he was able to, like, really excel in his role because he's so wicked and shit. So I guess now we'll just find out how well he does.
He definitely knows how to manipulate people. He manipulated her.
Oh, totally. So now I'm just wondering, like, how well he'll do here. So that's what I'm looking out for.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, so... Okay, oh my god. Okay, so we're going to read some emails, and I just pulled up the very first one, and I remember reading it and being like, oh, this will be great, but now I'm reading it, and my brain's dead, so it won't be great. So, it's from Brian. The email is titled, A Quiz for You Both.
Slay.
Dear Haven Narmith, I don't know if you meant to switch out our first
I think
letters,
he definitely did.
That's what my brain's feeling like right now anyway. So Brian says, I've enjoyed the episodes and feasts for so far. I'm really looking forward to getting into the nitty-gritty of this book. Curiosity got to me at work and I looked up all the people who have been in the Kingsguard. After my reading, I thought it would make a fun quiz for the podcast. So there have been 11 people that have been in the Kingsguard since the start of A Game of Thrones. With your powers combined, can you name them all? And I will include the answers in a separate email so you can both play along. I wish you good reading in George's wacky adventures of a ballad of things and stuff. Best, Brian.
Thank you, Brian. That was so good. Great idea.
And I made it a point to not read the other email.
Slay, okay.
So
thank you for doing this and thinking of us. Slay. We might disappoint you because our brains are a little dead, but we'll do our best. I'm going to start...
11? I don't think I realized there were 11.
I'm going to start with the low-hanging fruit, Jaime Lannister.
Okay, let's name one each until we get to the end.
Jaime Lannister.
Barristan Selmy.
Fuck. Wait, no. Meryn Trant.
Okay.
Write them down because we're gonna get confused.
Yeah. Boris Blunt.
Okay, wait, let me think. I know more, I just need to remember them. Oh my god, oh my god, why am I struggling? Let me think, okay. Oh, Loras Tyrell.
Nice. Osmond Kettleblack.
I was gonna say that.
That's the right
only
Kettle
one
Black.
I could think of.
That's the right.
I'm pretty sure it is. We saw that name way too many. I think because of Jaime's musings, we saw that name too much this time. Okay. That was the one I was gonna say. Now I can't think of any. Okay, let me think.
Oh, I thought it went.
Who's Adam Marbrand again? Is he a Kingsguard?
No, he's like head of the City Watch.
Oh, okay.
Or the Lannister Watch. One of those two.
Okay, never mind.
But good name recognition.
Thank you. I was just thinking back to this chapter because I was like, Jaime's got to have named some of them, right?
I can tell you who this other person I'm thinking of is, but you still won't get their name.
Okay. Just tell me who you're thinking of.
Eris Oakheart, the guy in Dorne.
Oh my god, I was trying to think of that one, but I couldn't remember his name. I just tried to remember, like...
See, that's what I said.
Yes, there is one there. Were any others dismissed? Because we know Barristan Selmy was dismissed. Well, there had to have been 3 others dismissed, right? For the
Boris Blunt was dismissed and then reinstated.
Right, okay.
But we already said him.
So there has to be 3 ones that were taken off that I'm not thinking of. To make the math.
Wait. 2 are taken off. Well, Blunt once and... Wait. How many are we at?
I don't know.
There's 11. That's way too many. There's no way there were 11.
Yeah. Who was the one who killed...
the only one I know.
Meryn Trant killed Syrio, right?
Yeah, that's why we know him.
Cool. Yeah, I don't think the other ones have done anything significant, respectfully.
Oh my god.
We need to go to that last, like, Clash of Kings chapter where Jaime's just talking about where Jaime gathers all of them and he's like, this is why you suck. This is why you suck.
Oh, you mean Storm of Swords?
Sorry, yeah, I don't know why I said Clash of Kings. Storm of Swords, where he's, like, naming why they all suck. Wait, I'm pretty sure... No, JK. No, there's not. I was like,
There's a guy who has a name like Eris Oakheart, but not
Yes,
quite.
I agree. Okay, you know what? I genuinely...
I'm sure this is riveting audio. Okay, we got 7 out of 11. You know what?
I think that's good.
Funny.
Okay, who were the others?
Below are the answers from my prior email. Sir Barristan Selmy, Sir Jaime Lannister, Sir Eris Oakheart, Sir Merys Trant, Sir Boris Blunt, Mandon Moore, the guy who tried to kill Tyrion.
Oh.
Sir Preston Greenfield. I had no memory of this person, but he was killed in the mob in King's Landing, like during the riot.
I guess.
That's Brian literally says that's the most interesting thing about him. Oh wait, sorry, he's got commentary. I don't think I realized. Okay, so Sir Barristan Selmy, Lord Commander Robert, dismissed by Cersei and Joffrey, took it real well. Sir Jaime Lannister, current Lord Commander, 3 kings have been killed under his tenure, could be doing a better job. Eris Oakheart, currently in Dorne with Marcella. Meryn Trant, he's been here the whole time. Sir Boris Blunt, dismissed by Cersei after giving up Tommen to Jacelyn Bywater without a fight, reinstated by Tywin after the Battle of the Blackwater.
This is so funny.
Sir Mandon Moore tried to kill Tyrion during the Battle of Blackwater, pushed to his death by our Lord and Savior Podrick Payne. So, like, usually I read our emails early, but because I didn't want the answers, I didn't read this one, so I'm getting live reactions.
This is so funny.
Yeah, Sir Preston Greenfield, killed by the mob at King's Landing. That's the most interesting thing about him. Sandor Clegane, made Kingsguard after Selmy was dismissed, fled during the Battle of Blackwater.
I think I repressed that because that was crazy.
Sir Osmond Kettleblack, made Kingsguard by Cersei, replaced Boris Blunt. Sir Loras Tyrell, made Kingsguard by Tywin, replaced Mandon Moore. Sir Balon Swan. That's the guy that sounds like Eris Oakheart, but isn't.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I feel like in our heads, he sounds like...
Yes. All these names have the exact same energy, you guys.
Yeah. He replaces Preston Greenfield. Seems pretty chill. How did you do? I was able to manage 7. Oh, he managed 7 too.
Nice.
So we got,
Except
think,
we're
together,
2 mimes.
we managed 7. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you. We did.
We have half the power you do, Brian. Honestly, that was so slay. Thank you.
That was wonderful. Okay. Our next... You know what? People send us more quizzes. This was actually really fun.
This is amazing.
But, like, next time we do this, I'm going to do it at, like, 5 a.m. or something. not 1 a.m.
Please.
Love your podcast by Pauline. Okay. Dear Nav and Harmat, I've been listening to your podcast for a while now, and even though I have not caught up yet, I'm currently on your early Clash of Kings coverage.
Ooh.
I just felt the need to write to you.
Aww.
My name is Pauline. My pronouns are also very chocolatey. Is that a word? No, it is. Yes, Pauline. It's definitely a word. I am from Germany, and I am a huge fan of Game of Thrones and Song of Ice and Fire. I have watched the show 3 times and read the books twice, and I just cannot wait for George R. R. Martin to finally release the next book.
That's very optimistic.
Most people don't believe it in anymore, but I have a feeling, or an inkling, or a hope, a very desperate hope.
Please. You're so funny.
I really love listening to you and accompanying Harmat on her very first journey through A Song of Ice and Fire, and I'm very intrigued what she is going to say by the end. Nav, I have a couple of questions for you, which you may answer in an unspoilery way in the podcast with Harmat present, or in a very spoilery way, alone, or both, or neither, whatever you decide. And I read these over, and I'll answer them vaguely.
Okay.
First, what did you think of the show's final season? I personally didn't like it at the beginning, but rewatching it and comparing it to other shows, I think it's still pretty good TV, and whereas some things are definitely rushed, I overall still love it a lot. Bad writing. Moving on. Honestly, like, it hasn't improved much on rewatches, but I brought this up when I was on season 8 with Emily and Kate on Game of Thrones, where I decided not to focus on the bad and decided to focus on the good. And I watched this documentary they did after season 8, or released after season 8, that was filmed during the making of season 8. And it's about like all the crew and like background actors and all the people that usually don't get the limelight, you know? And seeing them work so hard at everything made me appreciate the last season.
Aw, that's sweet.
Yeah, but bad writing. Okay, second, is your favorite character Jaime? Yes, he's one of... there's 2 characters that you're going to be surprised. One I have declared to be Jaime. The second I have yet to declare. But Pauline's still, like, at the beginning of Clash of Kings. So, like, by the time she hears this, it's going to be so late.
Literally. Hello, Pauline.
Unless, like, she binges podcasts like I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, so I don't know the second one yet?
Yeah, no, I haven't said it.
Is it someone we've met?
Yeah, but I haven't said it. Because remember I said, like, when I tell you, you're going to be surprised?
Okay, cool.
Or, like, if I told you now, you would be surprised?
Right.
I think that's what I said. Because, like, Jaime, we get it. Like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah. Oh my god, it's slay.
Okay. Third, did you watch House of the Dragon? If yes, how did you like it? And if no, what are you doing? Personally, I love it. It might be my new favorite show because I just really, really, really love dragons. And Game of Thrones and this show is basically Game of Thrones, only more dragons. I just realized that there is no way to answer these questions in an unspoilery way, so never mind. Keep up the good work, and yours sincerely, Pauline. You know what? They were fine. House of the Dragon, I did watch it. I did like it. It's not as good as when the Game of Thrones was good, but it's not as bad as when Game of Thrones was bad. So, like, it's not... It's got its problems, but for the most part, it's good.
Slay.
At least it's not... Yeah, I'm gonna watch the second season, you know? Yeah. Okay, P.S. If you ever want to start a drinking game for the podcast or a bingo game for the minor / non-alcohol drinking listeners, I suggest adding the following phrases. Number 1, oh my gosh. K. Number 2, K. Number 3, we start the chapter. Number 4, Harmat using a title as a name. Example, Maester, Sir.
You know what, you guys? It's fine. It's because those titles encompass those specific people. Like, somebody who really embodies what a Sir is, I'm just gonna call them Sir. It's like, think
but
about
I
it.
thought that no sir could be sir other than the first sir ever.
Listen, okay, that was a joke. Okay, listen. Also, think about it. In your life, it's like a pet name. Like when people are like babe, you might, if you're a person who uses babe, you're gonna call multiple people in your life babe, most likely at different periods in life. Like, it's fine. It's okay. I stand by using a title as a name. Slay. Moving on.
I think it's great.
Slay.
We need some repetitions for there to be a drinking game.
So true.
And as we learned in this episode, there is no original thought, so...
Yep.
The end. We did it!
Slay!
3 hours later.
Thank you, Pauline. Slay.
Yes. Thank you for your emails. This was great. Send more emails with bingo game things and...
fun questions.
Quizzes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also...
But only send like one question at a time because I don't think my brain can process more than one question.
Oh my god. So true. Just schedule like an email every week with one question from the quiz.
It's like the listener's question of the week to us as opposed to like your question of the week to the listeners in Discord.
So true.
Speaking of Discord, join us on there.
No. We have to promote. We have two things. Not promote, but just like share.
Yes. Okay, we did things while we weren't on this podcast. So tell people about it, Harmat.
Okay, so we were on the restricted section with our friend Christina, who you guys know, obviously. If at this point you don't know, you haven't listened to enough episodes. So me and Nev were both on, and obviously we were on for chapter 8. We were on for chapter 8 of final book, Deathly Hallows. It was great. It's the wedding, like chapter for everyone who knows what we're talking about, and it was amazing and it was fun vibes and we love Christina. Link will be in the show notes as per usual. And then I featured on a Percy Jackson podcast called the Demigod Pod, and so the people on this the people on this podcast are also like we got like they started their podcast after listening to Pop Culture Symposium, and they were like, this is so slay, and which was like crazy, and I was like, oh my god, you guys are so nice. And yeah, they were so slay, and if you're into Percy Jackson at all, you should definitely check it out. They're on the second book now, and they use this Sea of Monsters. Yeah, that's what it is. Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. And they use the same format as a format that we do, which, if you guys like this, you'll obviously like that, where they have one spoiled host and one unspoiled host. And I cannot say enough how fun it was to get to be there and be the spoiled one. However, it was also equally stressful, because whenever I would say something, I would instantly be like, wait, that wasn't a spoiler, right? Wait, that wasn't a spoiler, right?
Do you appreciate me now?
I do, because I was so scared. I was like, I'm gonna scar her and like say something that I shouldn't. And it was crazy. But anyway, they're lovely and their podcast is amazing, so you should check them out. Once again, link in the show notes. So if you guys are, because I know some people have been saying in the Discord recently that they're caught up to our podcast. So go check Restricted Section and Demigod Pod out. Spiel over.
Love it. No, I can't listen to the Percy Jackson's one for reasons, but I was there for the restricted section one, and that was definitely fun.
So slay.
And I guess I'll take your word for the other one. Whatever.
No.
I guess I trust you. But
I love,
yes, go check those out.
I love guesting, because you get to podcast without having to worry about editing. And you get to talk to people.
Yeah, and go send them an email, like, really randomly.
Yeah, go email them and be like, hey, we were sent by Song, Ice, and Fire Symposium, and you guys are cool, and we like you better now.
I mean, I would. Who knows?
No, literally.
Makes sense. Okay.
Thank you for bearing with us for 3 hours.
No, I hope you like it. Like, we like talking about things, but, like, sometimes we really get tired, and, well, sometimes I get really tired and start zoning out and then have to, like, rework myself into the conversation.
I've done it. It's okay. It happens to both of us. We both have our on days and our off days.
But If it's night, it's my off day because it's literally night. It's not day.
Oh my god.
Yeah, what? You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Yeah?
Today is the 5th. What?
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're saying.
Give me a minute.
Okay.
Oh my god. Okay, so we started recording this on May 19th. It is now no longer May 19th. But our first episode kind of officially came out on May 19th, 2020.
Yay! Oh my
4
god!
fucking years. I just realized that.
Guys!
4 years. I was just telling, like, I don't always tell people that I have a podcast. Like, it's, I don't know, it doesn't always come up. And it's, but I told a friend today that I have a podcast. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh yeah, for like 4 years. And only now to realize exactly 4 years.
Oh my god. Wait.
So yay to us. That's exciting.
Wow. We're like toddlers nearing on child. Our podcast.
I guess. So stop it. No. I don't like this thought at all. What? No. I don't want to be comparing our podcast to children ages. That's no.
What?
I don't like it.
Okay. Why is this a trigger?
Me, okay. So, if this disturbs you too, go follow
or if it doesn't.
Yes, just go follow us on Instagram at Pop Culture Symposium, and then go join the Discord and send us emails, especially emails with short quizzes that we can do one at a time. And I love the idea of sending the answers in a separate email so that I can also participate. Real like that. And
our email is popculturesymposium@gmail.com.
There you go. Yay! Together, 2 halves we make a brain when we make it work, you know?
So true.
So I guess until next time, farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.
What did you think of these chapters?
Okay. Ow. Oh my god. I just got like a pain in my heart.
What? Like thinking of these chapters? It hurt?
No. Just, I don't know. Just like a random pang, like, for no reason. Okay.
You're like panging for the joys of A Storm of Swords or something.
Please. I'm like, oh, remember when we had all those deaths? When will those good days ever come back? Okay, just give me a second, because I don't want to be dying.
Get some water or something, okay?
I have had so much water in the last hour. You know this.
Maybe that's why.
Okay, I don't know. There's like an area that just hurts. Anyway, okay. What did you say?
I asked you, what did you think of these chapters? And then you were like, ow, ow, ow.